is a 9 till noon show, and it's Michaela Clarke standing in today again for Greg Hughes. I mentioned to Lee there that people have been so kind with their lovely comments. Today's only my second day on this show, so thank you all so much for your lovely messages and comments. Anyway, on with this show, and we're going to start in the usual way by having a look at what's in the papers today. I can't believe we're actually chatting about this story still. It is the Children's Hospital. So the first patients will not be treated in the new National Children's Hospital until 2026. The €2 billion facility in Dublin has been delayed 14 times, with cost overruns spiralling out of control. The development board of the new hospital is locked in a legal dispute with builder BAM over a series of financial claims. Last year, former Health Minister Stephen Donnelly met with the parent company of BAM to express the government's frustrations over the repeated delays and cost overruns. Now, a new document provided to new Health Minister Jennifer Carroll McNeill claims the first children won't be treated in the hospital until 2026. And apparently this relates to they don't want to transfer the patients during winter. But, is the hospital going to remain idle all this time? And is there going to be more costs now? Is work still going on? And it's already €2 billion of people's money. So what do you think about this? There's been so much backlash. As always, you can contact the show by texting or WhatsApping 086 60 25,000. You can give us a call on 074 91 25,000 or email comments at highlandradio.com. It's just crazy that, this money can be spent. The Children's Hospital still isn't opened. And we don't know what the future holds. Will it even be next year? There's so much up in the air with it. This caught my attention because I'll tell you after I read the story actually. So tourists face tax to stay in Dublin. So in the Irish Daily Mail today, an accommodation levy on hotels and short-term lettings is being explored by the government as a method of raising funds for councils. A briefing note prepared by officials for Enterprise and Tourism Minister Peter Burke, seen by the Irish Daily Mail, outlines plans to introduce the charge, but it is said to be heavily opposed by the tourism sector. A similar measure was introduced last year in Scotland, where it is known as the tourist tax. I know that in Europe they have the city tax, and it always catches me out. I am checking in and then they're like, oh yeah, you have to pay the city tax now. But if you are prepared for it, and accommodation prices are a bit cheaper in cities in Europe, you can afford it. Whereas you look at accommodation prices in Dublin and they're at the limit of what you can afford to spend anyway. But last August, I think it was, I was going to stay in Dublin for 2 nights, and it was maybe over €1,000. It was over €1,000 actually. So I don't know why we decided, well, we look to see how much it'll cost if we go to Abu Dhabi to stay. And it worked out for the two of us €200 more to stay in Abu Dhabi for 5 days. So we were going to a concert, so we sold the tickets and took the flight to Abu Dhabi instead. But it's crazy, the prices in Dublin. And I know there's so many calls and so many representations being made to put an end to this price gouging, but it doesn't even seem now that if there's an event on that they hike the prices up. It's just any time. So if they're going to introduce this tourist tax, surely they're going to have to, put something in place to reduce the accommodation prices to start with. So this is something now as well in the Irish Daily Mirror, that while I think AI is great and it can be helpful in some scenarios, but it's just scary. So politicians have expressed fears about political catfishing and malicious deep fakes, as the paper reveals a bank of AI generated pictures that are freely available online. The Irish Daily Mirror reveals that over 120 fake pictures of 45 national, local and European politicians have been uploaded to an online platform and marketplace for generative artificial intelligence content over the last 6 months. The fake pictures, although not malicious in nature, include Green Party leader Roderick O'Gorman behind bars, Simon Harris in a bright pink suit, and multiple images of Sinn Féin TD David Cullinane in one picture. Now, while people can look at them and think it's humorous, on occasions, things that are created through AI are humorous, but, when it damages someone's reputation or puts someone, in a compromising position, it's not funny at all. And it just shows the level and the extent that the dangers of AI. And as I mentioned, it is helpful in some scenarios, and it helps, say in workplaces, say like a factory, using AI can help, speed up the functions. But yeah, when it comes to damaging someone's reputation, and the way there's always this perception, there's no smoke without fire, and people still believe that. So even though it could be entirely false information, there's still that element out in society. I know Midlands Northwest MEP Maria Walsh, she has been very vocal on this, and she's constantly called for, a clampdown on this. Looking now to the Irish Daily Star, and Pope Francis is said to be in good spirits as concern mounts over the 88-year-old's health. The pontiff remained in hospital last night in what doctors described as a complex clinical situation. He was admitted to a hospital in Rome on Friday, suffering from a respiratory tract infection. Vatican spokesperson Matteo Bruni said Francis was in good spirits but will require an appropriate hospital stay. This made me question, I know it's nowhere near the same level, but last year, whenever Joe Biden was running for re-election again as US president, there was so much talk about he's too old now, and it's not the same level. Pope Francis isn't running, the United States, but it's the same kind of thing. Is he too old for the job possibly, and should he be allowed to retire sooner? Obviously he's in ill health. So what do you think? I'd love to know. Do you think that there should be a certain age limit on the Pope, or it should depend on their physical health? Like, say, Pope Francis was able to travel the world. Would it help encourage younger people to practice their faith? But obviously he's not in a position to do that. So join the conversation today. Get in touch. Let me know what you think about that. In the Irish Times today, homeowners are to be allowed to rent out their EV chargers. So homeowners will be able to rent out the use of their electric vehicle chargers to members of the public through an online platform under a new pilot scheme seeking to promote more sustainable transport. Yesterday, Minister for Transport Darragh O'Brien announced actions aimed at accelerating the transition to EVs, including one which seeks to address challenges around access to home chargers. The shared charging pilot scheme will enable homeowners to rent out their EV chargers through a booking platform. I don't know if I'd be comfortable with letting someone on my property, a complete stranger, and surely they should just invest in better infrastructure throughout the country in public places. Like, how are you going to work that if you're travelling from Dublin to Donegal, like looking up to see, what house has an EV charger? Will I, contact them and see if I can charge my car? I don't know. Anybody with an electric vehicle out there, would you feel comfortable letting someone on your property, or letting, because you have to plug in for quite a while. So maybe it would work whenever you're at work during the day, somebody would drive up to your house and plug in their car. Would you be comfortable with that if you were an electric vehicle owner needing to charge, and also if you have a port at your house? Let me know your thoughts on that. And looking now to the Irish Independent, keeping with the motoring theme. So prices of petrol and diesel rise for the fourth month on the trot. Petrol and diesel prices have risen for the fourth month in a row, putting financial pressure on motorists. The main factors behind the increases include crude oil prices rising, while the euro has been weakening against the dollar. So diesel prices are now €1.77 a litre on average across the country. This is up more than 11 cents a litre since last October. Petrol prices are up 8 cents in the last 4 months to an average of €1.80 per litre. There's just no end to the cost rises either. I don't know, this is really, a negative against me. But say I fill my car up and my husband might be like, how much was diesel there? I genuinely don't have an idea. But whenever I put in a set amount and it doesn't do me as long as it normally does, I do question then, how much diesel is. But I suppose, we can't, I don't know, can the government take a fall on this? But it's just, there's just so many price increases continuously. So make sure and get in touch with us today with your thoughts on any of those topics. If there's something you'd like to chat to me about today, also get in touch. You can WhatsApp or text 086 60 25,000. You can give us a call here on 074 91 25,000. And of course, email comments@highlandradio.com. And we'll be back just after this short break.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
McCullough Jewellers in Letterkenny are synonymous with fine jewellery, quality watches and giftware, with stores at Main Street, Letterkenny and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre, or online at ormccullough.com. You can choose from their quality product range in a relaxed atmosphere, and their sales staff will be happy to help you make the right choice, whatever the occasion. McCullough Jewellers, making moments magical for generations.
Winter sale now on at Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, Donegal Town. Amazing prices on made-to-order kitchens, sliding wardrobes and much more. Don't miss your chance to transform your home at unbeatable prices. Book your appointment today at cherrymore.ie or call 07497 25822. Cherrymore, 28 years of adding quality and value to your home.
Gather your girls for a fun-filled Galentine's night out at the Villa Rose Hotel and Spa Ballybuffet on February 22nd. Shake up cocktails, enjoy delicious pizza and celebrate friendship in style. Tickets from €30 available on Eventbrite, or relax in the comfort of an overnight package available to book online at villarose.ie.
Want a new car? Think Kia. Call Heron Auto Donegal Town on 074 9722 555. We're excited to offer a fantastic selection of self-charge and plug-in hybrid cars, along with petrol and electric cars. With finance rates starting from an incredible 0% APR and a 7-year warranty, you can drive away today with peace of mind. Call Heron Auto to find your perfect vehicle and experience our commitment to excellence. Drive with confidence. Drive with Heron Auto Donegal Town.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is?
The time is 16 minutes past 9, and I'm joined now on the line by Jack. Good morning, Jack.
Hi, Michaela. How are you?
Good, thank you. So you've been struggling to pass your theory test. What's your situation?
So, I've been struggling with my theory test, trying to pass it. I've failed it multiple times, just due to my dyslexia, and I've kind of tried the RSA supports in Letterkenny, and it's just not working for me.
And what kind of supports are there, Jack, or there's just a severe lack of support?
Not that there's a lack of support. There is support there. It's more in terms of studying for the test, because there is supports for during the test, but it's more, when you're studying or revising for that test.
Yeah,
there's a bit of struggle.
And have you spoken to anyone else who is dyslexic also? Have they had a similar experience to yourself?
I'm not aware, but I think there probably is people out there who is, probably in the same situation as myself, struggling, trying to get that support as well. So I'm just reaching out to see, if there is supports and from different organisations or community groups that be able to support, maybe groups or one-to-one support on theory classes, because there isn't that happening out there that I'm aware of.
And in terms of the actual theory itself, you outlined there how the difficulty is studying for the theory test. But in terms of doing the theory, do you have any idea how that would impact yourself? Can you hear me there, Jack? Sorry.
Yeah. So, do you mind just repeating that? No,
you're fine. So you outlined there how it's the studying for the theory test that is proving difficult for yourself. But in terms of actually doing the exam, are there supports there? Would they help you then?
Yeah, so there is supports during the exam. So you have, an in-person reader for them, for the likes of myself, like a separate room where you do the test and stuff. But for me, that's a bit of a struggle as well.
Yeah.
because I personally I struggle with being timed and with my dyslexia, so like that knowing there's barriers there in terms of time and stuff, it can be a bit of a struggle for myself, and even having like I like the sports are there like, helping, but it's at the same time I'm still struggling, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Do you believe that this is something that the Road Safety Authority needs to look at as a whole then?
I do, because I think there are people out there struggling, whether it be dyslexia or just normal people who struggle with different barriers to road getting a theory test.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there should for the road safety to have classes where you can get that support, and get an actual proper understanding of the rules of the road, and give an understanding, because for me, I was doing it on the app, and I did I've been doing the tests repeatedly, and it's just not, it's not just sticking, it's not sticking in. So,
And
I was
whether
thinking,
you have dyslexia or not, studying just doesn't suit everybody either.
no, that is the thing too as well. It's it's not a one fits all,
Yeah, absolutely.
And
A listener's been in touch and they're asking, have you tried the ETB? They believe that they offer support with dyslexia, and I'm not sure if it relates to the theory test or not.
so I've actually emailed multiple services. That's how I actually got in contact with yourself too as well. So I sent out an email to different organisations, reaching out to see if there's any support available.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And obviously, as a youth worker, your transport is vital. I lost you there, Jack. Did you? I think we might have lost Jack there. But if anybody has any idea about where Jack can get help, let us know here and we'll pass them on to Jack. But hopefully he does get a bit of the help that he needs there. And I'm sure that there's loads of people out there. Is this something that you have struggled with, or something that you've encountered when going for your driving test or theory test? People with dyslexia, it affects so many people in different ways. So let us know and we'll pass that on to Jack. You can text or WhatsApp at 086 60 25,000 or give us a call on 074 91 25,000. We were talking when we were having a look at the papers about the National Children's Hospital. A few of you have been in touch. The project manager of the Children's Hospital should be pulled before the Oireachtas Committee. We really need answers on the spend over it, and not a single door open yet. Yeah, it's a serious issue. We seen with RT last year, them being pulled before the Oireachtas. So obviously, there does need to be, and I'm sure there's so many, elements of government and other organisations monitoring this. So it will be interesting to see what does come of it. So another listener says, the money spent on the Children's Hospital this stage is such a shocking, disgraceful waste of money. Imagine how many children we could have treated for that money in other countries by now. We also talked about electric vehicle chargers. Would you allow someone to pull up at your house and plug in their car? I keep going to say phone. Plug in their car. They can book it through an app. It's an initiative that is being proposed by the government. A listener says, I own a charger at my house and there's no way I am allowing anyone and everyone to come to my home. To me, it's more of a safety issue. I live alone. Yeah, it's exactly that. Definitely not. I am a security freak at the best of times, so I would definitely not be inviting anybody up to my house. Another comment on the Children's Hospital. The Children's Hospital is costing over $2 billion. It costs us €1 billion a year to host asylum seekers. When you look at the cost like this, it is a big cost. Yeah, when you put it like that, it is a massive cost. Another listener says, as someone who exports to America, I'm wondering where Trump's tariffs will leave my business and staff in a year's time. That is going to be a huge issue coming down the tracks. And I know that was such a fear, even like big tech companies in Ireland, are they going to remain? Because Yeah, it's just might not be feasible for them. Another listener's been in touch. Want to get Elon Musk over to this country and sort out all the wasting of taxpayers' money and how government and helpers come up with crazy prices for different projects, thousands and millions over the top. We've seen it on so many occasions recently. The bike shed as well is one of those. So yeah, be interesting to see. Joined now by Fine Gael MEP Regina Doherty, and quite a serious issue and a frightening issue, as there has been an alarming surge in scams in relation to popular accommodation platforms, and you're raising serious concerns over this.
I am. Now, first, to be fair, Booking.com is the company that we're talking about, and they have raised the flag themselves. My concern is the reaction from the Commission. So just to let your listeners know, scams, and that is, your normal person makes a booking on Booking.com, and then very, very quickly thereafter, you receive an email from the hotel or the apartment block that you've booked from. But obviously, it's not from the Booking.com or the hotel. It's some nefarious person has been able to log in through some back door on their IT system and get your details, and then pretend to you that they're the hotel that you've actually booked for and try and scam extra money out of you. And these incidences have skyrocketed by about 900%. So there's a real weakness here in Booking.com's IT infrastructure, whether it's their firewall, whether it's their ability to manage their GDPR obligations under the EU Commission. But the Data Services Act absolutely compels very large platforms like Booking.com to make sure that yours and my data that we give them willingly, obviously to engage with them, is precious and that it's kept secret. And there's a real problem here. And so I've written to the Commission to say, the scale of the issue is shocking. I want to know what EU consumer protection laws are in place to make sure that your money and others' money is being protected and that we're not being scammed out of it. But also making sure that Booking.com security measures meets the GDPR legislation and the requirements and meets the Data Security Act. So there's a real concern here that people are being ripped off every day of the week.
Because if Booking.com themselves are aware of this, obviously greater intervention, as you are calling for, needs to be carried out. What is the number one thing you think immediately needs to be done?
So I think maybe a real inspection of what the weaknesses are so that we can plug those gaps. I mean, for argument's sake, the legislation goes right up to being able to fine these very large platforms enormous amounts of money. And I think that's obviously, it's the carrot and the stick. The stick is the big fine. We're not really interested in taking their money off them. We want to make sure that consumers are protected and that when you give your data, just booking a holiday or an apartment, a hotel or whatever, you want to make sure that that data is secure and that you're dealing with a company that treats you with the respect that the legislation and the regulations require. And so in the first instance, we need to inspect what the issues are, and Booking.com need to absolutely get their act together to fill and to close those gaps that are being breached. So people's GDPR, the data is not being respected. If people can willy-nilly log on and scam, up to 900% of an increase means there's a real frailty there in their system. They need to address that. And also we need to be assured that they actually treat your data with the respect that the regulations and the law require. I mean, in an age where we freely share stuff so much on social media, sometimes I think people, don't necessarily see the downsides and the downfalls. But all of those thousands of people that have been scammed in recent times and have paid hundreds of their own hard-earned euros over to shysters who are pretending to be the hotel that they've booked or pretending to be Booking.com, it's far too easy for them to be able to take your hard-earned money, and we need to close down those gaps.
And is there, in relation to these EU consumer protection laws, is there anything in place that all online sites need to have a certain level of security, or it's up to each individual site?
No, I mean, the GDPR legislation is very, very clear, and it's not new. It's there. My goodness, I think it's probably there about 10 years. It's very, very clear, and the guidelines, and from our GDPR Data Protection Commission based in Dublin, how strict they are. It's very, very clear what you need to do to protect people's data. The problem here at the moment is obviously there is some major frailty in Booking.com system because the data is not being protected. And literally within moments of people making bookings, they're getting emails from the hotel that they think they've booked with. So that's how insidious it is, that's how fast it is, but that's how slick it is. You really, really believe that you've just booked 5 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago, and the hotel are so efficient that they're sending you an email with a query for A, B or C. You're totally in the mood of booking your holiday, booking your few days away. You're in that zone, you don't think anything is wrong, and that's why it's so nefarious. It's so awful that people are really being scammed out of hundreds of euros extra over and above what they're paying Booking.com. So the frailty exists in their IT systems. They need to get their act together immediately before we have to fine them. Like, nobody's interested in taking their money, but we need to make sure that they're protecting their consumer interests and not allowing them have money taken off them illegally.
And time is of the essence as well, because these scammers, they're so sophisticated and they're continually working to overcome these issues that are, that they encounter when they're trying to access details.
The one thing I'm absolutely sure of, and I come from an IT background for the last 30 years, when we think we're advancing from a technology perspective and we think we're great and we're making, great strides to have new innovations, the scammers and the shysters and the people who work their business in the illegal world are always one step ahead of us. And so we really, really need to make sure these rules are not there, just to be annoying or to spoil people's fun or to make it harder for business to do business. The rules, particularly the consumer protection rules, that are there to protect people from this kind of illegal criminality. And so it's really, really important that these very, very large platforms, and you can see in the last number of weeks, some of them kind of feel that they're much bigger than governments. They're much, their voice is much louder. We need them more than, we need our regulation. The reason we have regulations is to protect the ordinary people who are spending their money on these platforms, to make sure that they can have security and safety and the knowledge that the platforms take their data very, very seriously and don't allow shysters to come in some IT backdoor to be able to rob their data and ultimately scam them out of money.
That is Fine Gael MEP Regina Doherty there. Have you been one of those that's fallen victim to a scam on Booking.com? We always think sites like Booking.com are safe, and we always remind ourselves never to follow a link that is not a secure site. And we believe Booking.com is a secure site. Let me know on 086 60 25,000 or call us on 91 25,000. Now, we are joined by Michelle on line 2. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
So, Michelle, we were speaking to Jack there earlier in the show. You're dyslexic yourself and you struggle with interviews.
I struggle with interviews, tests of any kind, or exams as well, yeah.
And have you learned over the years a coping mechanism for this?
Yeah, I went back to college and I was actually diagnosed then. I went back to college late and I was diagnosed as dyslexic then. And they kind of taught me different ways to learn. One of the things that I found really good was writing out the questions on flashcards and the answers on the back. But another one that I found really, really good coming up to my exams was making voice memos into my phone. And if I was out walking or anything, constantly playing these back repeatedly. And I found this very, very helpful as a way of learning. I don't know how, but I did remember once I done this, yeah.
And is this something that you came across yourself, or did someone advise you to do this?
No, I came across it myself, and I've actually met a few people. There was a few people in my class also dyslexic. They were doing the same things. It's just finding a different way of learning to suit you. Not everybody learns the same, so it's just finding something that suits you. But definitely, the voice memo was really helpful to me.
Yeah, because Jack was struggling with not doing the theory test, but revising for it and studying for it, and that adds stress again, that fear that I know that this is going to be difficult for me. So hopefully, the voice memo might be helpful for Jack as well. Have you done a theory test previously or anything?
Yeah, I had to use the flashcards for the theory test. I hadn't come across the voice notes at that stage, but I find the flashcards really helpful as well. Just repeatedly picking out one or picking out two, every night or lunchtime. Not studying constantly, because that you can't do that. You can't learn that way. But leaving it down and picking them up again. But all different, get flashcards, put all the questions on it, put the answers on the back, keep picking them up and putting them down.
And did you feel that there was enough support for you doing your theory and driving test?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
What would you say going forward, if you were to propose to the RSA, what would you say needs to be changed?
Well, I would say they would need to, appreciate people with extra needs such as dyslexia. A lot of the way that they word the questions as well, I found really, really difficult, like understanding what they were actually asking. I found difficult in the theory test. I think that was one of the hardest tests I've ever had to do.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, thanks so much for getting in touch. Hopefully, those tips might help Jack and others when studying as well. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So obviously, yeah, in many scenarios, that does need to be taken into account people with dyslexia, and obviously there is a great awareness about it, but not enough is being done to roll out supports right across society. So that is definitely something that needs to be reviewed. Coming up after the break, we're going to be talking about how from next month motorists will have to provide their driver number to their insurer when taking out a policy.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Ah, that's the sound of Caller, of cosy movie nights in, shove over, of the post-match get the cold out of your showers, a fry-up on a Sunday morning. It's the sound of homes running on easy, efficient energy. And right now, homes not on the gas network can get a free boiler by switching from oil to Caller gas for their home energy and heating. So every day sounds a little more like this. Nice and toasty in here. Caller, the energy that connects us. Terms and conditions apply. See calorgas.ie for details.
For strong, unique, weather-resistant homes, choose Seadrill Exteriors. Our fibre cement roof slates and wall cladding ranges are built to last for generations, exceeding EU quality standards. Members of Guaranteed Irish, our products are locally made and beautifully designed, offering long-term peace of mind. Visit Seadrill.ie. Seadrill Exteriors. Strength guaranteed.
Mum, why do they call it Scottish cheese?
It's cottage cheese, honey, and I'm not sure.
Do dogs in other countries speak different languages?
Yeah, I think so.
When will we get there?
Well, we've got to fix the car first, but there's someone coming to help us.
Is it the man from Geneva?
Not Geneva. He's from Aviva. Oh, there's the van now.
For car insurance with breakdown rescue, it takes Aviva. Visit aviva.ie to save 15%.
Acceptance criteria, terms and conditions apply. Minimum premium of €310. 15% discount applies to new policies bought online. See aviva.ie for details. Car insurance is underwritten by Aviva Insurance Ireland DAC. Aviva Direct Ireland Limited is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Now, welcome back to the 9 till noon show. It's Michaela Clarke standing in for Greg Hughes today. Now, I was saying just before the ad break there that from March the 31st, motorists will need to provide their driver number to their insurance when taking out a policy. It will also require the driver numbers of named drivers to be provided. This will have to be done before a motor insurance policy is issued, and the data has to be moved to the Irish Motor Insurance Database. Now, you may have heard this ad also.
This is an important message for all drivers. From March 31st, the law is changing. When you renew or take out motor insurance, you'll need to provide your driver number. It's on your driving licence, listed under point 4D, so make sure you have it to hand. Without your driver number, you won't get insured. Double check that you have your licence, and if you can't find it, take steps to have a valid licence in time for your insurance renewal date. This message is brought to you by Insurance Ireland and the Motor Insurers Bureau of Ireland in support of a Government of Ireland initiative.
Now, to discuss this further, I'm joined by Brian Hanley, who's the Chief Executive of the Alliance for Insurance Reform. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Michaela.
So, Brian, talk to us about this. What is happening? What do drivers need to know?
I think the most important thing is really just to have that driver number with you at the time you're renewing, because insurers from the 31st of May won't be able to provide you with cover if you don't have that detail to hand, or can't provide this before your renewal date. So it's just a practical thing, I think, to remember. And one of the reasons put forward, of course, is that it'll strengthen the work of the Gardaí by improving the information available on the motor insurance database, and that's used by the Guards then to identify uninsured vehicles and ensure that drivers are properly licensed. And I think one of the reasons they've also put forward is it'll provide a more comprehensive insight into any criminal history and so on, because the guards now use those mobility devices that they can quickly check the status of vehicles in terms of insurance and so on, and the drivers. So it's just another step in that direction.
And it's ultimately to enhance road safety also. You mentioned the Gardaí there, that they will have access to this detail also.
That's right. I mean, because uninsured drivers are still a significant problem in this country. I know from doing a little bit of research this morning that in 2023 rather, the total number driving without insurance was estimated at over 180,000. I mean, it's an extraordinary number of people. And of course, we all pay for that in one way or another, which isn't fair on policyholders now, because if any of those uninsured drivers are in an accident, that's all paid for by a central fund, which rightly compensates the innocent victims of any accidents like that. But ultimately, that's all paid for by policyholders. And the number is up as high as over 8% of motorists. So if this is going to help ensure that people are properly insured and that the guards can check that on a regular basis, I think it makes the roads a safer place, and it's probably something really to be welcomed.
And yeah, while it is to be welcomed, do you foresee that there will still be that cohort of people that they're not going to provide their driver number and instead be out on the roads in uninsured?
I'm sure that's the case. I don't think it'll, there isn't any single initiative, or maybe even any group of initiatives that will stop everybody from driving without insurance or without a license or while suspended. That there'll always be that cohort. But I think there have been great strides taken in recent years to enable the guards to detect those vehicles and those drivers so that they can be taken off the road to make it a safer place for everybody.
But ultimately then, insurance premiums for motorists who get points will go up then?
Well, I put points, I think, traditionally have always led to increases in premiums, and certainly premiums generally have been very problematic in the last while. We have seen premiums increase month on month for I think over 14 or 15 months now. I'm sure everyone knows who's gone for renewal in the last year or so that the premiums have increased, and sometimes increased significantly. That's in large part due to inflation in the cost of repairs, and we've seen significant increases there. But the only thing that was helping kind of to reduce that or prevent it from getting totally out of hand was that the size of awards had come down in recent years, and now that too is under threat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because also there's a recommendation before government that an increase in awards for personal injury claims has been proposed, and it affects so many, and it will come at a huge cost to those who have insurance cover.
Absolutely. I mean, if we start increasing awards, then premiums will only go one way. And Ireland has been an outlier for years in terms of the size of awards it gave out. But a few years ago then, the judicial guidelines, the personal injury guidelines were brought in to help create a more stable environment for personal injury claims. And then here we are at the first 3-year review of the guidelines, and they're proposing a 17% increase in awards across the board. And so, like as I said, if you have inflation increasing the cost of repairs, and now there's a 17% increase to personal injury awards, I mean, really you're looking at potentially a significant increase in premiums. It will also, if the government approve this recommendation that came from the Judicial Council, you'll see premiums go up, you'll see settlement volumes at the Injuries Board go down, and you'll see legal costs increase. Now, the government doesn't have to necessarily approve the recommended increase, and I think what we need now is a proper debate about it, and not something that is just rubber stamped and signed off before we properly consider the implications of doing this.
Because in relation to personal injury claims, say if you own an entertainment complex or a community centre, we have seen in the past that has actually put many people out of business.
Premiums in this country for motorists, but in particular then for businesses, community, sports, charitable groups, has been a huge problem. And we have seen businesses go out of business, or really they just can't. It's even their ability to grow or to expand. And this is right across the country as well, from your local corner shop to childminder to entertainment space or so on, where premiums are a real issue. And there was a significant programme of reform introduced during the last government, whether that was changes to, occupiers' liability, so people had to take a bit more care of themselves when they were out and about, or changes to the size of awards, or the new Garda Insurance Fraud Coordination Office. All these reforms were designed to put pressure on, insurers to bring down the cost of insurance. And if we start increasing the awards now, it'll just release all that pressure. And I'm afraid what it's going to do to premiums for businesses and for motorists, it will send it in the wrong direction and undo a lot of the good work that's been done to date.
We have a couple of comments in here as it relates to the driver number needing to be provided, Brian. Someone asked, is it not the case that insurance companies require a copy of your licence when taking an insurance policy, so they already have this number? But there does appear to have been a loophole where you didn't have to, clarify if you had points.
That seems to be my sense. I mean, I think that they're bringing this in just, I think, to improve the information that they have, so that they can be sure they can adequately know the driver and know the car and know whether they are properly licensed and insured to drive any particular vehicle at one time.
Yeah, and someone also asked, they say that they're a driver insured in Ireland but have a German EU driving licence. There is a driver number on that. Will this still meet the legal requirement, or at the moment is it just for Irish driving licences?
I actually don't know the answer to that, Michaela. It's a very good question, but I'm certain it's something that their own insurer will be able to answer very quickly for them if they give them a call.
Yeah, very early stage at the moment. But do you see any challenges with this, or do you believe that the processes are in place that it will be straightforward enough?
Well, I think it'll be more a convenience thing for a lot of people just to remember to have your driver number with you at the time of renewal and have those details to hand. Look, with everything that's being with anything that's being rolled out, there'll probably be a few issues or a few wrinkles that come up, much like the phone call there about the international license and so on. But I'd imagine, broadly speaking, this should be relatively straightforward. It's just an additional piece of information, and they have good information campaigns that I know your own station are playing at the moment to help remind people. But I think there's goodwill, and people can understand the reasons and the rationale behind introducing this change. And really, it's just because we want to make sure that our roads are safe, motorists are insured, and I think that's in everybody's interest.
And as it relates then to certain policies, do you give everybody's driver number that is contained in the policy, like such as named drivers?
Yes, that's something that they have added to this as well. So it's not just you as a primary driver, any named drivers on the policy. So to make sure that you have all those driver numbers to hand. I mean, you always have to provide the basic information about whoever you're adding as a named driver. So the introduction of this at the end of March will be just make sure you have their driver numbers to hand as well when you're doing it, and it should be more relatively straightforward besides.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us this morning. So make sure that you're up to date. You get your driver number to your insurer when taking out a policy. We'll be back just after this short break, but make sure if there's any issues you want to raise, get in touch with us here.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
GiveBlood.ie know we can count on you, our community of blood donors, to be there for others in their hour of need. Blood donors from Buncrana should attend the clinic in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel on Monday 17th and Tuesday 18th of February, and donors from Carndonagh should attend the clinic in the Community School in Carndonagh on Wednesday 19th and Thursday 20th. Making an appointment is recommended, so call 1-800-731-137 or visit our website to book your time. New donors are vital. Visit giveblood.ie to check eligibility and clinic details, because we count on you.
Irwin Expert Electrical, your trusted destination for all things home appliances, electrical and entertainment in the Northwest. With over 50 years of leading the way, we pride ourselves on offering a diverse range of products under one roof. From top brands like LG, Samsung, Cooker, Bosch, Apple and more, take advantage of our free layaway service where you can store your new items until you're ready for them. Perfect for renovations and new build projects. Visit Irwin Expert Electrical today in Letterkenny or Buncrana.
Building a new home? Discover next generation comfort with the new award-winning Grant Airona R290 heat pump, delivering exceptional performance with quiet operation. The Grant Airona R290, heating for the future. Think heating, think Grant. Visit grant.ie.
This is an important message for all drivers. From March 31st, the law is changing. When you renew or take out motor insurance, you'll need to provide your driver number. It's on your driving licence, listed under point 4D, so make sure you have it to hand. Without your driver number, you won't get insured. Double check that you have your licence, and if you can't find it, take steps to have a valid licence in time for your insurance renewal date. This message is brought to you by Insurance Ireland and the Motor Insurers Bureau of Ireland in support of a Government of Ireland initiative.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenny's. Our new season special occasion wear range is here. Visit us to explore our extensive dress collection in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Today's weather, some hazy sunny spells developing today. Southeast winds will be mostly moderate to fresh and gusty, but strong at times near coast. Highest temperatures of 7 to 9 degrees. Delighted now to be joined on Zoom by the founder of the global movement We Are ARC, Mary Reynolds. Good morning to you, Mary.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you very much. So you're travelling to Donegal this weekend, Moville particularly.
Yes, Changemakers Donegal have invited me up there to lend support to the local Rights of Nature campaign. Given that Donegal County Council was the very first council in the whole world to pass the motion for the rights of nature back in December 2021, which is wonderful. But the work identified in the motion to consult with local groups over the last 18 months following the passing of the motion has not taken place. And there is a huge amount of support for this work to be done, and yet the council haven't followed through on it. So I suppose it's really important to maybe educate people why it's important, and kind of show that there is a massive upswelling of kind of cry for people are crying out for nature to be sort of saved, because at the end of the day, nature is an intricate web of life, and we are simply one thread in that web, and we're tearing the whole thing apart, and it's happening at such a fast rate that we really need to step in and become the spiders at the center of the web and reweave the whole thing back together again before it's too late,
Yeah.
And we are running out of time incredibly fast. And I think people are aware of the collapse of nature happening around us.
But that's it. People are aware, but they don't know where to start to protect this, which is what you aim to do with your talk.
Yeah, I started this movement. I started my career winning the Chelsea Flower Show when I was a young woman, and I had a great career working around the world as an international garden designer, but I've slowly come around to the understanding that our gardens are part of the problem rather than the solution. And so I have a very, very simple solution that anybody who actually wants to save the planet, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to say in the first place, but anyone who wants to save the planet, they have to either start with their own patch of it or stop talking about it, because all of the solutions are local. And, we have to start at home. And by restoring our own patch of the planet back to native plant communities, which are the foundation stone of all life on this planet, we can stitch a kind of a patchwork quilt of hope for nature, which means that each one of us becomes the solution. And that's why it's called We Are the Ark, because it's not about me, it's about how each of us can become an act of restorative kindness to the earth, which is what ARC stands for. So at the moment, people get very disheartened because they feel like they can't do anything, and they see all the destruction happening. And the reality is we've been colonized by corporations, and so all of the decisions being made at political levels are driven by economic growth and corporate kind of leanings, There's no growth on a dead planet, let's face it, and we are very, very close to that point. And, like the obvious things are, like, we've lost 87% of our insects have been wiped out. The mass of our insects have been wiped out since 1970. 75% of all our wildlife populations have been wiped out. Like, they've been wiped out since 1970. There's a massive collapse of life on this planet. And the one that really wakes people up, I think, is when you remind people of a certain age, including mine. Like, I'm 50 years old, and I remember when I was young and I was driving my car, I'd have to clean the windscreen when I came home. But nowadays, when I come home, there's not one insect, and it's terrible that you'd measure the biomass of insects on a kind of a simple scale like that by seeing how many are dead. But there isn't enough to be dead anymore. So what we're doing to this planet is we're killing ourselves, because we're completely and utterly, hopelessly dependent upon the abundance and health of all the other creatures that we're supposed to be sharing this planet with. And there's 8.7 estimated million species on this earth, and we've only catalogued and recognized 1.2 million of them so far. And we're losing them before we've even met them. And the earth can only manage to look after us and all the other creatures that are under her care if we allow her to do so. And the foundation stone of all that is, of the whole web of life, is native plant communities. And unfortunately, the amount of greenwashing we're presented with in order to have solutions presented to us that are corporate solutions, really, like electric cars are not going to save the planet, lads, you know?
And how important is it? You touched there on the Rights of Nature motion that came before Donegal County Council. Obviously, they have so much responsibility within the county. How important is it? Do you feel that they're not taking things like this seriously enough?
Well, no. I mean, I think this is the most important work left to us, because if we continue on this edge over the cliff, we nothing else is more important than having a future, than having a planet that we can actually live on. There is no more important issue than the home planet that we are destroying at a rapid rate. So I don't think they get it. I don't think they understand the pressure we're under. I don't think they understand the danger we're in. And, corporations, they're like psychopathic entities. They don't care. They just need to meet a certain amount of profits every year. And it's not like there's, we can't depend upon them to care. And unfortunately, they're driving the whole thing. And so we need our politicians to step up and educate themselves on what the solutions are. And they have been offered these solutions by the Rights of Nature campaign. And, the solutions do exist. They exist in how we produce our food, how we fish, how we look after our rivers, our seas. We have to ban things like bottom trawling. We have to stop destroying the hand that feeds us. And so the solutions do exist. And for people to be part of this, they have to start taking care of their patch of this planet. And unfortunately, in the industry of gardening, there's been an awful lot of greenwashing, and people have been offered the option of not really changing very much, and they don't realize how dangerous it is. I mean, there's this wonderful professor called Dave Goulson in England, and he wrote a good few books now. He's a really wonderful author, and he did an experiment in, I think it was 2017 or 2018, where he took a range of plants from garden centres in England, and he tested them. These were all marked with the labels of bee and butterfly friendly, or pollinator friendly, and he tested them for chemicals, and it was like Russian roulette for the insects. So basically all these plants have been treated with a range of toxic chemicals from seed to sale, and they're systemic persistent chemicals which go into the nectar, into the pollen, and they're killing our insects. So people feel like they're being offered an option to help the planet by buying pollinator-friendly plants, for example. But unless they're organic, unless they're native, they're not actually being helpful. And so, this kind of we've kind of lost our knowledge about nature because we've disconnected ourselves from it to such a degree. But the reality is, we are nature, but we're just not natural anymore.
So, Mary, are there any tickets left for your event now on Saturday?
I'm not sure. I mean, you'd have to contact Lacey now. It's in
in St Eugene's Hall, Moville. Yeah, between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Yeah, and so I'm not. You have to book via Changemakers Donegal on Eventbrite. So I'm not sure. I know they have 100 people already, but I'm not sure how many more tickets they have. But it'll definitely be an interesting event.
Yeah,
you know,
perfect.
So if
I'm
anybody
sure
wants to find
lots
out how
will
they
be
can be
looking
part
forward
of
to it.
the solution, yeah.
Thank
please
you
come
so
along.
much for joining us this morning, Mary. Thank you.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Us pigeons see everything when we're flapping around up here.
Well, almost everything.
See, burning certain fuels releases invisible toxic pollutants, which can trigger asthma and lead to serious illness. So, if you're going to light a fire in your home, make sure to use low smoke fuel. Oh, and never wing it burning rubbish.
Choosing low smoke fuel is better for all of us. Let's clear the air for everyone. And remember to clean chimneys and heating appliances at least once a year. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
If you're ready to transform your space this spring, Foy's have the experts to make your dream design come true. Their interior design and paint colour consultants are there to help with free consultations throughout February. Whether it's a home makeover or a commercial project, they've got you covered with advice on paint, wallpaper, curtains, blinds and furniture styling. Plus, they're the largest paint stockists in the Northwest. Book your consultation today and let Foy's bring your interior to life.
Whether they're on holiday, watching TV, eating a family meal.
Put it down.
It seems teenagers just refuse to put down their phones. But help is at hand.
Because Fundamania is in Derry.
Real thrills, real fun, outside in the fresh air.
Fundamania Derry at the Brunswick Movie Bowl from February 28th to March 17th.
Choose regular, junior or family wristbands. Turn screen time into scream time. Details at fundamania.co.uk.
It's the Highland Radio 35th Birthday Bash, and we are throwing one big party to celebrate. Join us for our birthday concert on Monday the 31st of March in the Mount Errigal Hotel with a huge lineup of stars, including Michael English, Jimmy Buckley, Patrick Feeney, Hugo Duncan, Claudia Buckley, Connell Gallen and me, David James, all accompanied by my new band. Tickets are only €30 and are on sale from the hotel reception and online at highlandradio.com and usual retail outlets. Overnight packages are also available. Let's celebrate 35 years of Highland Radio together with a special night of music.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's Donna Marie Dorley with the 10 o'clock news. A total of 701 new residential address points were added to the Geodirectory database in Donegal last year. The latest Geodirectory, a joint venture between An Post and the Ordnance Survey, also shows over 22,000 residential buildings were classified as being under construction in 2024. 722 of those were in Donegal. The rate of vacant properties is at an all-time low, with the national average at 3.8%. However, in Donegal, that's well above that at 9%, ranking the fourth highest in Ireland. Dara Keogh from the Geodirectory says having vacant buildings is not always a bad thing.
There's always going to be a need for a vacancy rate for a well-functioning housing market, because for various different reasons, transactions may be going through, there may be legal delays, etc. And then also people might want short-term lets for various reasons, like major renovations in their own home. So the fact that there's a vacancy rate is not necessarily a bad thing, and at 3.8% it's quite a low rate.
American and Russian officials have begun talks to end the war in Ukraine. It's the most high-profile meeting between the two countries since Moscow's invasion began nearly 3 years ago. Kyiv and other European countries haven't been invited. Taoiseach Micheál Martin says Europe needs to be at those talks.
Yes, European states are worried in terms of the direction of travel. That said, everybody wants this war to end. It is a horrible war. Hundreds of thousands of young people have lost their lives as a result of this war. And if we can get a sustainable peace, that would be good for everybody. But Ukraine has to be at the heart of it, and there cannot really be a peace deal without Ukraine.
At least 2,000 fish have been killed in the Glenmornan River near Artagarvan. West Tyrone MLA Militia McHugh says the fish kill has affected a number of species and the final death toll is expected to rise much further. Loch's agency says it's now identified the source of the pollution and the environmental agency is assessing the impact. Mr McHugh says that impact will be very widely felt.
An ecological disaster in respect to the Glenmornan River, but not only the Glenmornan River, but also to the Foyle estuary. The Glenmornan River and that feeds into the Foyle. Figures already sort of accounted for us in excess of 2,000 dead fish, and there's Loch's agency that will carry out the full investigation of the impact of this pollution of the river.
The Save Donegal Education Centre Committee is to organise a public protest as the next step in its efforts to stop the service moving to Letterkenny from Donegal town. Local TDs and senators are also to meet with Education Minister Helen McEntee this week to discuss the issue. Clarity around the upcoming AGM is also to be raised. It's due to be completed within the next 10 days. However, notification of the event has yet to be issued. Committee member Councillor Jimmy Brogan outlines what is to be discussed with the Minister, namely claims made in relation to a lack of consultation, contradicting a statement released by the full Management Committee last week.
The decision, the way the decision was made was the biggest issue. Decision wasn't made by the majority of teachers. The decision was made by a very small number of people. It was never discussed at an AGM, and then the Management Committee seemed to be refusing to hold the AGM now for some reason. So
the Taoiseach is insisting the new National Children's Hospital remains on track. It comes amid reports the official opening has been pushed back again until 2026. There's also reports the builders are looking for an extra €100 million in costs. Simon Harris says the plan is for the hospital to be handed over to the state this June.
No, I think the National Children's Hospital now is in the final stages of its completion in terms of its construction. Of course, there have to be the kit out, the clinical kit out of the hospital. That's a vital part, the commissioning work that needs to take place. But I never accept the narrative put forward sometimes by the developer that they're looking for all this additional funding. The state robustly pushes back against that.
Well, in a statement, the company building the hospital says the claims process, as is set out in the contract, requires BAM to submit claims on itemised basis, and BAM is only seeking the amount that is fairly due. It also states recommendations from the independent conciliator are binding on the parties unless subsequently overturned in court. Looking now to weather, damp and misty start earlier this morning with some patchy rain and drizzle, clearing northwards by mid-afternoon and with the chance of some hazy sunny spells developing. Highest temperatures of 7 to 9 degrees. That's all for now from Highland Radio News, back with headlines at 11 o'clock. The obituary notices this Tuesday morning, February 18th. The death has occurred of Joseph Josie Victor, Boyle, Kilclooney, Beg, Portneuf. Removal from the Eternal Light Chapel of Rest, Letterkenny, today at 3:30, going to his residence at Kilclooney, Beg, Portneuf to arrive at approximately 5 o'clock. Funeral Mass on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. in St Connell's Church, Kilclooney, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family time from 10 p.m. to 11 a.m. Family time on the morning of the funeral. The death has occurred of June O'Donnell, née Brown, Dunmore Carrigans. June will be reposing at the family home from 5 until 10 o'clock today and tomorrow from 12 noon until 10 p.m. Family time only on the morning of the funeral, please. Funeral cortege will be leaving the family home at 10 a.m. on Thursday, going to St Bathans Church, St Johnston for Requiem Mass at 11 a.m, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. The death has taken place of Tricia Devine, née Armstrong, 4 Rossgear Close, Lifford, formerly of London. Funeral leaving her home tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Murlough at 2 o'clock. Cremation afterwards in Lakelands Crematorium. House is strictly private, please. Requiem Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Margaret McHugh, née McGettigan, Devlin Moore, Carrigart. Margaret's remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there tomorrow morning to the Church of St John the Baptist for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. Family time from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. The death has taken place of Bernadette Feeney ní McKelvey, late of 1 Cooley Slin Castle Finn, formerly of Castlewellan, County Down, reposing at her late home from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. today. Funeral tomorrow, leaving her late home at 10:30 for 12 noon Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Alton Road Park, County Derry. Interment immediately afterwards in the adjoining graveyard. Requiem Mass can be viewed via the church webcam. The death has occurred of Lucy McCafferty, 46, Admiral Park, Stranorlar, and formerly of Main Street, Stranorlar. Remains are reposing at her late residence today from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Funeral leaving there tomorrow at 10:30 for Requiem Mass in the Church of Mary Immaculate, Stranorlar at 11 a.m. Interment in Stranorlar Cemetery. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live via the parish webcam. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu, if so desired, to Donegal Hospice and Medical 4 Ward, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. Family time on the morning of the funeral, please. The death has occurred of Maureen Quinn ní Conley, Towns Park, Raphoe. Maureen will be reposing at her late residence today from 12 noon until 9 p.m. Rosaries at 9 o'clock. Funeral leaving her late residence tomorrow morning at 11:20, going to St Eunan's Church, Raphoe for 12 o'clock Requiem Mass with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family time, please, on the morning of the funeral. Funeral Mass can be viewed online via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Raymond Kirk, 35, The Bungalow, Newton Kennedy Street, Strabane, and formerly of Claddagh. His remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral leaving there tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for Requiem Mass in the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Strabane at 11:30. Interment afterwards in Strabane Cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to the Diabetic Association, care of Quigley's funeral directors. Family time, please, from 10 o'clock tonight. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Victor Beattie, Burnside, Raphoe. His remains are reposing at his late residence. House strictly private, please, at the request of the deceased. Funeral prayers at his home today for family only, please. Leaving from there at 2 o'clock, going to St Eunan's Cathedral Graveyard for prayers and burial. Everyone's welcome to come and pay their respects at the committal. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu to Cancer Care West, care of Terence McClintock, funeral director. The death has occurred of Hugh Walsh, 4 Chapel Street, Stranorlar. Funeral leaving from McCool's Chapel of Rest, Ballybuffet this morning at 10:30 for Requiem Mass in the Church of Mary Immaculate, Stranorlar at 11 o'clock. Interment in Stranorlar Cemetery. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live via the parish webcam. Family time on the morning of the funeral, please. The house is private. The death has occurred of Connie McGlynn, Rogie, the Ramblers in Brocka, Cloughan. Remains are reposing at his home. Requiem Mass at 12 noon today in the Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Succor, Glenfin, with burial afterwards in Kilwara Cemetery. The funeral Mass can be viewed on the parish webcam. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
It's only Wednesday and the kids have got tons of homework to do. Start with Irish. Meatballs and tomato sauce from Aldi. Specially selected 100% Irish Black Angus meatballs, only $2.99. Served with specially selected tomato and basil pasta sauce that's made in Ireland and only $1.99.
Dinner's ready!
Make your school day meals hassle-free and delicious. Good food, good mood. From Aldi.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Welcome back to the 9 till noon show. It's Michaela Clarke standing in for Greg Hughes this morning. Going to a couple of your comments now. We were talking about electric vehicle charging stations, and the government's proposed that homeowners would rent them out to other EV vehicle owners. So someone has emailed to say, in my opinion, homeowners renting EV charging stations would definitely help encourage more people to switch to electric cars. It would be similar to house owners renting rooms via Airbnb, and similar platforms could assist in successfully implementing this idea. I think the thing for somebody had commented earlier that it is about security as well, letting people onto your own property. Another texter says, I renewed my car insurance 2 weeks ago. I had to give both myself and my wife's driver numbers, so this system is already in place. So that relates to a conversation we had about having to give your driver number now, so you can access an insurance policy. Is this more about knowing who has points on their licence and who doesn't? Let's face it, many of us are not truthful about having them when we get an insurance renewal. Well, this does do away with that. So if you give your driver number, all your points will be noted by the insurance company, and Gardaí will have access to that as well. Petrol is around 25 cent a litre cheaper and diesel around 15 cent cheaper in Northern Ireland. Does this not show how much of the cost is actually tax? We spoke earlier to Jack at the start of the show as well. So he is a youth worker who is dyslexic, and he was talking about how he struggles not with doing the theory test but studying for it. And Michelle then joined us on the line, and she gave a few tips about how she studies. She uses voice notes and she listens back to it. So that was a bit of information. If you are struggling, it might be useful to you. But Dyslexia Ireland says that they do provide driving theory preparation courses. So some ETBs offer free in-person driving theory preparation courses to help you pass the driving theory test. Class sizes are small for individual support and run 1 to 2 hours per week at various times. So during these courses, you will learn to be confident in taking the driver theory test, understand road rules, signs and related vocabulary, practice theory questions and navigate the test process, and improve literacy, numeracy and digital skills. So you can contact the Donegal ETB if you're interested in that and need more assistance. A texter says, some of the best drivers I taught took 5 times and more to pass the theory test, but go on and pass the driving test first time, so there is a problem somewhere. There definitely should be more help for people that struggle with the theory test. Yeah, absolutely. Because nobody, even if you have dyslexia, that's what I had mentioned, if you have dyslexia or you don't, some people studying, it just does not suit. I actually sadly didn't mind studying, so I would write my notes out and just read them aloud over and over and over again. And even just that exercise of writing them down, I find that it did stick in my mind. But everybody is so different, and practical work helps people more than the learning reams and reams of papers. Did you know that there is no central Gardaí section to deal with cybercrime unless this is for cybersecurity? You have to go to your local Gardaí to make a complaint. I know from another situation that the Gardaí involved had not a notion about being defamed online and nothing happened. I've recently been hit with a personalised scam hate crime. I could lose my job over it. What Gardaí should I dock to? So this is an internet crime, not a local crime. So you would need to contact Gardaí that are trained in cyber crime, as cyber security is a bit different. I think this relates to, we were talking, it was a story in one of the papers today about AI creating images and, I suppose like defaming somebody. We also touched on Booking.com and scams relating to it, and Regina Doherty, the MEP, joined us to discuss this. A few comments in about it. Booking.com and Trivago, don't trust these sites. They maintain Trivago beats any hotel prices. Tried it many times and it's a load of old rubbish. You're better just going to the hotel, as most hotels will match any other site. And yes, I booked a hotel in October for a trip in March and got a message which I thought was Booking.com to update details. I phoned the hotel. They told me not to click any links. Think I'll be booking direct from now on. Sometimes it does work out a bit cheaper, but I always, just because Booking.com was a trusted source, even, to make sure that the hotel you come across, you can never be too safe, isn't a scam in itself, that booking through Booking.com was that extra level of security. But Regina Doherty was talking about that, just as that texter had said, that it's afterwards then the scammers get your details and will contact you purporting to be the hotel. So just be so careful, especially as everybody is looking to get away from the dull weather and looking to book a holiday. Just be extra careful. Coming up shortly, we will have the Garda information slot just after this short break.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio. It's Tuesday the 18th of February. You're playing on the brown sheet for the daily prize of €400. The reference number is S17. It's game number 8. The numbers are 46, 76, 81, 62, 60, 41, 79, 52, 67, and finally 24. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Hey, see that road sign?
Which one?
That white one with the black circle and 5 diagonal lines in the middle.
Yeah?
What does that mean again?
It now means that you should drive 60 kilometres an hour or slower.
Ah, okay. This sign on local and rural roads means drive at 60 kilometres an hour or below, and always according to the road and weather conditions. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
Switch to solar and save. Cut your energy bills with efficient renewables. Trusted since 2009. Solar is clean, affordable and now more rewarding with a €1,800 SEAI grant and 0% VAT. Order by March 1st and get your free BER assessment. Don't miss this chance to save money with efficient renewables. Call 074 970 8320 for a free quote today. The Dolan family present Remembering Joe, a celebration of the life of Joe Dolan at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny, this Saturday, 22nd of February. Tickets priced at €30 and are available from the hotel reception, with overnight packages also available. That's this Saturday at the Clanry Hotel, Letterkenny.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie. The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025.
I'm joined now in studio by Garda Grania Doherty from Letterkenny Garda Station. Good morning to you, Grania.
Good morning, Michaela.
So unfortunately, once again, we're looking at a number of burglaries. We'll start with the first one in the Manor Cunningham area.
Yeah, so Garda are investigating a burglary. This occurred at a house in the area of Ray Mahy in Manor Cunningham between 5:15pm on Friday the 14th of February and 10:30am on Saturday the 15th of February. The back door of this house, it was forced open, entry was gained. Several rooms were ransacked within the property, but nothing was stolen from within. So we're appealing to anybody who may have observed any type of suspicious activity or vehicles that wouldn't usually be in that area that might have stood out. Contact Gardaí in Letterkenny with that information on 9167100, or this goes for all of our appeals today. The Garda Confidential line can be reached on 1800 666 111.
And also staying with the Manor Cunningham area as well, the Drumcairn area this time.
Yeah, very close by. Yeah, another burglary, and this occurred at a home in the area of Drumcairn, Manor Cunningham. Again on Friday the 14th of February between approximately 6:45pm and 7:15pm. So a short time period there. Hopefully somebody might remember seeing something over that half-hour period. The lock was forced on the back door in this property in order to gain entry. A bedroom was then ransacked within the property and a sum of cash was stolen. So we're appealing to anybody who may have travelled in that area with a dash cam between 6:45pm and 7:15pm on Friday the 14th to make that footage available to Gardaí. Should anybody again have observed any type of suspicious activity in that area, or if they've any relevant information that might assist our investigation, we're asking them to contact us in Letterkenny on 9167100. We're particularly interested in any sightings or dash cam footage of a grey Volkswagen Polo that is believed to have been in that area around that time.
And we see the evenings getting a bit brighter now, and while it's not daylight hours, but those burglaries are still, it's not in the dead of night that these are being carried out, which is unnerving for a lot of people.
It is, and actually most burglaries do. I think we read the statistics. I don't have them to hand here today, but I think most burglaries do happen during daylight hours, surprisingly. And unfortunately, as we discussed just before the show started there, it's been a long time since we've had a number of burglaries on our appeals, and it's sad to see that this is happening again. But hopefully it will act as well as a reminder to people that these criminals are out there. They haven't gone away, and just to be more security conscious around their homes. Just to make sure that you've adequate lighting around your home, make sure that your doors, and in these cases the doors were locked, the houses were secure, but just make sure that your house is always locked, even you're nipping next door or over to the shop for 5 minutes, close up your windows, lock your doors. And it's very important as well, just always watch out for neighbours, particularly neighbours who are more vulnerable or elderly. Watch out if you see anything in your area, anything that seems not right to you. You see a car maybe at your neighbour's house, they're away for the weekend, or anything, ring it in. Anything that seems anyway untoward or suspicious, please do contact Gardaí. It's of vital importance that you do. We don't care if we call out and it was just somebody checking the property or they had a genuine reason to be there. We would rather be called and check it out. It's no odds to us. So please never hesitate. If you see anything untoward in your area, please do contact Gardaí immediately.
Absolutely. And another burglary, this time in Letterkenny.
Yes, this burglary occurred at Glenrua at Killylaston here in Letterkenny between 9 a.m. on Friday the 14th and 5 p.m. on Saturday the 15th of February. Entry was gained to the house. Damage was not caused in order to get into this house. A sum of cash was stolen from within, so we're appealing to anybody in that area who may have observed again suspicious activity or anybody who may have relevant information that could assist us to ring us in Letterkenny on 9167 100.
And a criminal damage incident then in the Termon area between the 13th and 15th of February.
Yes, this happened at the Creeveen Centre. There be, I suppose, people, the Creeveen Enterprise Community Centre. I think it's the full title. People will be more familiar with it as the title, Creeveen Centre in Termon. This criminal damage incident happened between 4 p.m. on Thursday the 13th of February and 12:40 p.m. on Saturday the 15th of February. So the glass in the front door of one of the premises in that centre was smashed between those times. Entry wasn't gained. We're appealing to anybody again who may have noticed cars, people in and around the centre or any type of suspicious activity again in and around the grounds of the centre between those dates to contact Gardaí in Milford on 9153060.
And moving then to the Bridgend area, more criminal damage incidents.
Yeah, so these are two separate criminal damage incidents. They occurred at the same business premises at Bonamain and Bridgend. So the first incident occurred between Thursday the 13th of February at 2 p.m. and Friday the 14th at 9 a.m. Two windows of a modular home at that premises were cracked, and it would appear to have been pellets from a pellet gun that cracked these glass panes. Then on Friday the 14th between 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. on Saturday the 15th, again, same sort of incidents, pellets again, cracked two further windows in a modular home at that premises. We're asking anybody that was in that area if they've seen anything untoward or if anybody has any relevant information in relation to either of these incidents, we're asking them to contact Gardaí in Buncrana on 9320540.
And moving then to Meeting House Street in Stranorlar.
Yes, this is a criminal damage incident again. This occurred at an apartment block there on Meeting House Street, Stranorlar, on Friday the 14th at approximately 10:45 p.m. A number of males caused damage to the front door of a building off the apartment block, and they left the scene then in the direction of Lifford. So we're appealing to anybody who might have travelled in that area, the Meeting House Street area of Stranorlar, or on the Lifford Road between 10:30 p.m. and 11 p.m. and if they had a dash cam, to contact Gardaí and make that footage available. We're particularly interested in any sightings of a silver Volkswagen Golf that's believed to have been in the area. And again, if anybody witnessed the incident, we're asking them to contact Gardaí in Letterkenny on 9167 100.
And it's so important. We talked about the burglaries there, but any piece of information relating to any of these incidents, the tiniest piece of information is vital.
It is, of course, and people can be hesitant at times to ring the station, and they might think maybe it's only nothing, but that nothing to them could be vital to us and to our investigation. So we do anybody that ever observes anything in their area that seems untoward, even you see vehicles parked at houses again, people in the area that you don't usually see maybe in and around a premises, give us a call. We'll be happy to call out and check it out.
And a number of Garda recruitment events are being held over the coming days.
Yes, the Garda recruitment campaign is underway at the moment, and we're holding a number of events, and everybody is very welcome to attend all or one or two of these events if they wish. So we're kicking off this evening actually at Ballybuffet Garda Station. There's an information evening there this evening between 6 and 9 p.m. And trainee guard and community policing Gardaí will be present there to answer questions and give out information. An information stand will be at Donegal Shopping Centre, SuperValue, Glebe, Donegal Town on Tuesday, that's today again, sorry, between 1 and 3 p.m. today. Actually, the Gardaí will be there at Super Value in that shopping centre, Donegal Town. An information evening will take place in Buncrana Garda Station on Wednesday the 19th, so tomorrow, between 7 and 9 p.m. And a drop-in event will take place at the Central Library here in town on the Oliver Plunkett Road tomorrow, 19th of February, between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. And finally, an information stand will be held at Letterkenny Shopping Centre on Tuesday the 25th between 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. All of those locations and times are on our Facebook page anyway, if anybody wants to have a look in there. So anybody, look, if anybody has an interest in joining, if they've any questions or they'd like to gain insight into the many ways that we serve the community, we'd be delighted to see them at any of these events. As I said, trainee Gardaí will be there. More seasoned members, such as myself, will be at some of the events.
But it's a great, less formal way of getting an insight into it for anybody that's interested.
It is, and you know, it's hard to beat seeing someone face to face. You can read all you like online, but I mean, really coming in, even we've such a mixture there. You know, we've trainee guards there who are going through the training process at the minute. They can tell them firsthand about their recent, you know, what it took to join, how they're finding the training. Then you have myself and my colleagues who are there a good number of years, and we could talk to them about our career to date, how we've found it. So, you know, they're going to have a whole mixture of different opinions and they'll get a variety of information. So it's really hard to beat meeting someone face to face. And even if somebody's sitting on the fence, they're not quite sure, and just come in and get the information. You mightn't apply this time, but maybe you might apply the next time. There's another recruitment campaign coming up. So we're happy to answer anybody's questions. And again, everybody's welcome at these events. Anybody that wants information, if they can't make any of these events, they can go to www.garda.ie. All of the eligibility requirements and details about the training process can be found there. And most importantly, get your application in before 3 p.m. on Thursday, February 27th if you wish to apply. So in order to do that, you go to publicjobs.ie and you apply on there.
Fast approaching too.
It is, it's quite a short campaign this time, so get on to it, anybody that's interested.
Great, Grania, thank you so much for that this morning.
No problem at all.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025. Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Monster Bingo every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel. €3,300 must go with €1,000 on the last page. Doors open 7:30. Bingo starts at 8:30. That's Monster Bingo this and every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford.
Nutrius XL Yo with Lamb and Nutrius Yo with Lamb Crunch are both formulated to ensure a vigorous lamb and excellent milk yield. Avail of our lambing season offer. 25 kg bags, buy 10, get 1 free. And €15 off per tonne in bulk. Available at your local Homeland store. Or contact your farm commercial specialist. Visit nutrius.ie for full nutritional information.
At My Home, we hate complicated. That's why our new app now offers a great range of features like our enhanced map search, access to My Home Eco Rating, as well as our all-important property email alerts, which means you have everything you need to find your new home right in the palm of your hand. Download the new My Home app today.
Right Price Tiles, wood flooring and bathware are 27 years old, and to celebrate, we're offering up to 70% off everything in store. That's right, a massive birthday sale with up to 70% off all tiles, wood flooring and bathware. Everything's in stock. Right Price Tiles, wood flooring and bathware, up to 70% off birthday sale now on.
Do you drive 50 kilometres or less most days? The plug-in Sportage could be perfect for you. With an electric range of 50 kilometres, the PHEV Sportage gives you best of both worlds, with electric power for those daily commutes and the petrol engine for those longer journeys. Fully charging your battery for as little as €1.10, the PHEV Sportage is the perfect family SUV. Plus, it's 4-wheel drive, making it perfect for Donegal roads. Come down to iMotors to get the best deal on your used car and visit imotors.ie.
iMotors, fearless generation.
Logal isteach ar mo chóirsaí na Commissionary Income chun aon credmheasa cónach a bhfuil tú i dtaighde le éileamh. Agus inis dúin faoi aon income breise a hill tú las muid an chóras imat. Má tá aisí cíag dríta dit, Joi tú é leis dit de chúpla lá. Má tá airgid lítá dúin, I bro míad leat rawa íciachta. Mo chórsaí, tá sé tapa, tá sé éasca, agus tá sé séir an easca.
Now, I'm joined by Tommy on the line. Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Michaela. How are you?
Good, thank you very much. So you're having some issues with registering foals with the Irish Horse Board.
I am, Michaela, and I'm just one of a number of people. I'm a small breeder here in Donegal, and we, from year to year, like you know, we register with everybody registers foals with the Irish Horse Board because of getting the breeding registered. When we offer these foals for sale, you know, the people coming in from abroad to buy these foals, it's the breeding that they're looking for, and you know, we pay a substantial fee for that. We actually, going by myself, I registered, or I sent off to have my foals registered in July of last year. I never got no word back. Come September, I got a call from a lady from the Irish Horse Board telling me that I had paid €140, but the fee had now gone up, and that they needed another €35. So I just paid it there and then on the phone with my card, and I told her that there was, like, we don't have a sale here in Donegal for our horses anymore. They have to be taken out of the county now, like.
Right.
And, you know, we're depending on a few sales for our foals and Cavan, and, you know, Cavan, I suppose, our nearest one. And, you know, we have to have everything kind of done and ready for them sales, because it's a short, you know, it's a short term for to have everything prepared. But anyway, September, I forwarded another €40 ahead for to have my books issued to me. They told me it would be done within a matter of days, and at that time, now, I had sold one of these foals, a very satisfactory sale to a customer, and he wanted this foal before Christmas. So I reassured him. I said, look, I says, I have everything done. I said, the paperwork's gone off to the Irish Horse Board. I said, we'll have a book back in the next couple of weeks. That kept going on and going on. The week before Christmas there, the man contacted me and said, look, I can't wait anymore. He says, I'm sorry, I'm pulling out of the sale.
And how long, Tommy, would it have taken previously to get these registered?
Previously, like, the foals is born March, April time. You're supposed to kind of nearly register them within a window of 6 months. And we do that, like, and then, you know, within a fortnight, 3 weeks at the most, these books used to be back to us again.
Right.
Now, a lady contacted me about a month ago from the Horse Board, and she said to me, you know, she says, it's disgraceful what's going on here. And she says, you know, like, she says, you'd need to contact your solicitor, and that's going down a different route altogether.
Yeah, and
like,
it's
you
an
know,
additional, you've already paid the money to register them, you've paid this additional fee, and then being faced then if you need
I spoke to Caroline off air there, like, and, you know, when I spoke to Caroline yesterday, she said that she would contact the Irish Horse Board. Now, like the rest of us, she's had no luck with that, because when you do contact them, you're put on a call list that, you know, the last day I tried to call the town, there were 16 calls in front of me. Now, you could be sitting for an hour and a half waiting on that coming in, and maybe at the end of that, the phone goes dead, or somebody comes on speaking that you can't understand. And, you know, you're no farther for it. Like, now, as I say, these foals are supposed to be registered and ready for sales by October. Now, we have missed the deadline on that, so they're no longer locked on as a foal, run out to a year old. So the fee for registering a year old then will be more money. So they're going to come back, you know.
And would you have more of a demand on the foals as opposed to an year-older one?
Well, you see, the situation is, the buyers that comes in to buy these, you know, is either buying foals or else they want them 4-year-old where they're ready for breaking and working.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Now, them people that comes in, like, from England, Scotland, all over, like, you know, they come in now. What they want to see is a green passport with this, so they can open that book and they can look at it and they can follow the breeding back generations. Now, I know a couple of people here in Donegal that got tired waiting and has lost hope with the Irish Horse Board, and contacted another crowd, I think they're in Galway, and they're issuing them with a book, a white book, or maybe a purple coloured book, but it's not listing the breeding. And that is no good whenever we go to Cavan or go to some of them sales, and, you know, the people standing in the audience or that's online sees this book from produced, it's not given a background of the breeding, and you just lost interest.
Yeah, well,
So,
it's
you know,
like buying something yourself. If it's not what you're used to looking at in terms of, you know, ensuring that what you're buying is what it more or less says on the tin, not as it relates to the horse.
That's
but,
exactly
you know,
right.
yeah, you would be dubious about it yourself.
Yeah.
So have you
So,
received all this time? Have you received a refund or anything, or you're still out this money?
We've received nothing, and you know, we're not actually looking for a refund. We're looking for what we paid for. Like, you know, as I say, our horses is no good without it. Like, you know, we can't move them on. We can't sell. We can't do nothing. Like, you know, I mean, mine is one story, but you know, I know of a lot of people that would have had their foals sold at this stage. You know, and you know, we're pushed on now to another year. Like. And I mean,
well, we actually just got an email in here from another listener. So they say, just on the passports for horses, passports have been applied for a foal in late July, have not yet received any books. Had a phone call in September looking for extra money for the book, which was forwarded on to the next day. Told us it would be with us then within days. This 17th of February, still no book. After numerous emails to horse board and phone calls, no replies to either. I lobbied Charlie McConnell about this when he was canvassing. We are no further on from that. It was €184 to apply for the book with breeding on it, and €130 to get the foal marked and chipped, which together cost €314 just for a book. When you add all that up, Tommy, you know, it fairly adds up if you have a few.
We spend a lot of money, Michaela, you know, to produce these foals, like, and you know, we're left in a very bad situation now. In fairness to that person that's after emailing you there, like, we all talked to Charlie McConnell, like, you know, and I mean, you'd have thought when we had the Minister for Agriculture here in our own county, like, you know, that we had somebody that was going to actually, you know, put our case forward and get this sorted. Like, Charlie has moved on, and good luck to him. Like, Charlie's away to a big new job. But, like, you know, we're still sitting with this situation. Like, I think, and I'm very thankful to Highland Radio to actually give us the opportunity here to bring us over there with. But, you know, I think that at this stage, somebody needs to speak for us. You know, like, we have paid for something we're not receiving, like.
And Tommy, is there an association or anything that can make representations? Is it about getting people behind this now?
It's about getting people behind it, and like, my idea, like, as I say, I'm not a large producer. I'm a small producer, and probably maybe in the next year or so we'll move away from it. But because of the cost of it, do you know what I mean? The cost of breeding. I mean, from a mare as putting foal, like, you know, to carry that foal for 11 months approximately. You know, you'd wait another 10 or 11 months to sell that foal, like, and then you had a situation like us here, you know, where you can't sell your foals.
And is that something you would have budgeted for, that you were moving the foal along, but now you have to hold on to it, and obviously that's an additional cost of feed?
Well, Michaela, that's whenever you come to October, like, you know, you want to offload them because, you know, you're not in a position for wintering them, like, you know, maybe for housing or whatever, you know what I mean? A lot of extra cost for keeping, which, you know, we were hoping that you're going to, you know, claim back again whenever this foal's sold again, but it's not really happening, like. And as I say, like, you know, it's the error is not on our end, like, you know, we've done everything, as even trying to contact them, as I say, when we had a minister here in the county, like, you know, and asked the minister, but unfortunately we were left, Donegal were forgot about again, just, you know.
We just got a message in there to ask, is the large amount that we are exporting the issue, that they're getting priority, the bigger exporters? Do you believe this could be the case?
Well, I don't know is a simple answer to that. Like, we produce, you know, across Donegal here, you know, we produce quite a few foals. Like, I mean, there's a sale and is it Cavan or Drumshamble actually on Saturday, and there's 180 horses booked that already. Now, we used to have that sale here in Milford, and we had it in our foal. We had two here in Donegal, 4 times a year. We don't have that anymore. And as I say, we have to travel out of the county. It's a lot of extra cost on us too, like, you know,
Yeah.
for to export or to take our foals, to travel our foals, like, you know. And as I say, it's really off-putting to people now. The people coming in from England and Scotland all was, you know, they're in great conceit with the horses we're breeding here and the way they're produced and, you know, how everything was done. And like we always, you know, we had a good market. Like my foals up to last year, like, you know, all went to Scotland.
Yeah.
But you know, we're not in that position anymore, like where we have that luxury of saying, well, you know, we have them ready and we can sell them today or tomorrow. Like, you know, we're tied to a couple of sales for the foals.
So now do you feel that you possibly will be forced to go down the legal route, or that's not an option given the cost of it?
Well, it's not really an option given the cost. So, you know, you're going to spend another couple of €100. Like everything we do from here on is extra cost. Like, do you know what I mean? And you know, at the end of the day, there's just a ballpark figure, like, you know, what that foal's worth. Like, and as I say, I'm not just speaking for me. Like, I'm speaking for all the breeders here in Donegal. You know, that's left in the same situation as I find myself in. Like.
Yeah, there has been quite a few comments coming in. I recently bought my granddaughter a foal and it took me 9 months to get it registered. I took the foal on the hope the registration would come. It did eventually, but the wait was ridiculous. Another listener says, I had to register a foal, but often the issue is the DNA needs tested to prove it is what you said it is, and that is causing a great delay. Is that something that could be possible?
That's right. That's right. And there is people such as that person buying a foal for their granddaughter, you know, and they'll say, look, I'll take it now, and sure, when the book comes, you can send the book on to me. You know, and a lot of times that book's not coming, then the novelty wears off, the patience wears off, and, you know, the foal has to go back again to the previous owner again. Like, you know, it's causing a very, very ugly situation, to be quite honest, like, you know, and, you know, it seems that we're left on our own here. What's it, you know, we're getting no support about it, like, and as I say, we need some kind of representation for to lobby the horse board or whatever, like, you know, to put our case forward, like.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, thanks so much for raising that issue this morning. If we do get a response from the Irish Horse Board, we will bring it to you. But thanks so much for joining me, Tommy.
Can I just tell you, you're doing a wonderful job there on Highland. Tell Greg to watch out.
Thank you very much. I'll bring you on any day I'm on then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you.
Bye.
Another listener has been in touch as well. They say the Irish Horse Board is a joke. Tommy is right. They don't answer phone calls or emails. Registering foals should be like cattle, a chip number, and I can check the breeding and cards are out within days. Are you one of those like Tommy that has been affected by this? He did talk about that, you know, he might stop breeding the foals because it's such an issue, and then the additional costs of it, and obviously he's out the money then by paying these fees and not receiving what he paid for. Let me know on 086 60 25,000. You can text or WhatsApp that number, or call us on 074 91 25,000, or email comments@highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Welcome everyone to Seachtain Gaeilge Energia. I'm Julie J and I will be your ambassador.
And I, Shane Daniel Byrne, will also.
Agus Comá le sin by Misha Michael Fry.
We all will be your ambassador.
Join us and share your funniest focal as Gaeilge.
Your silliest jokes.
No few ver vocal Donna at the festival events on Gade Gudi on Seachtain Lá Deig de Vorta.
Glockport with your own funny focal this Seachtain Gaeilge le Energia. Til Olash snog.ie.
Transform your space with McCafferty Tiles Bala Buffet, specialising in large format and designer tiles. We offer expert installation and free design consultation in our showroom or on site. Let us bring your vision to life with bespoke recommendations. Call 086 242 3604 or find us on Facebook and Instagram. McCafferty Tiles Bala Buffet, showroom by appointment.
Open your future by attending Northwest Regional College Open Days. This is the opportunity to visit your local campus and tour the fabulous facilities, sample the college experience and apply for your course. Running from 12 noon each day beginning 25th of February, Strabane campus, 26th of February, Strand Road and Springtown campuses, and 27th of February, Limavady and Greystone campuses. Register online to attend for your chance to win a high-spec laptop. Northwest Regional College Open Days. From here to career.
All you need to make your house a home at Patterson's The Halliford. From garden furniture to kitchens, sofas and dining sets, all under one roof. Need a new mattress? Why not visit our sleep centre on the first floor? With a large range of quality beds and mattresses in stock and ready for collection or delivery. Relax in our coffee shop serving hot lunches daily. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Patterson's Kitchens and Interiors, The Halliford.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenny's. Our new season special occasion wear range is here. Visit us to explore our extensive dress collection in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Today's weather, some hazy sunny spells developing. Southeast winds will be mostly moderate to fresh and gusty, but strong at times near coasts. Highest temperatures of 7 to 9 degrees. Now, 5 schools in Carndonagh have come together to launch a no smartphone voluntary agreement. To discuss this, I am joined by Jenny O'Donnell. Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning, Michaela. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure.
We're delighted.
Yeah, it's a great initiative. You're a parent of one of the children in St Bridget's National School in Carndonagh. So how did you get involved in this? How did it come about?
Yeah. Well, basically, one of my friends, she's a parent of a different school in Carndonagh, and herself and a few other parents in their own school, it's formerly known as St Patrick's Boys' School. They've changed the school, Neve Podrick now. But they were rolling out this initiative in their own school, but they wanted to roll it out in all the schools in Carndonagh. So she approached me to roll it out for my own school, St Bridget's National School in Carndonagh. So that's how I got involved, and she was very supportive because she gave me all the information I needed, just to make it very simple. So I touched base with the principal of St Bridget's National School, and he was very supportive of the programme. And then I had to touch base with the parents committee. I was very nervous about that because you have different viewpoints. You've got, everybody's situation is different. But overall, they were incredibly supportive. They were like, just, oh, thank God somebody's doing something about this. So for the majority, I think there was 8 out of 10 parents said, yeah, no, we would like to support this initiative.
And is it something that they have to opt into, or once a certain number accept it, that it's rolled out right across the board?
Yeah, I think we needed to have a bit of a buy-in from the parents committee to roll it out throughout the whole school. So we needed to have at least a majority. Now, it's nothing written in paper the way you do it, but you'd want to have a majority, because if you don't have a majority, you don't have the backing of the parents committee. So it was great to have their backing. Then we rolled it out. We presented to the Board of Management, and they were supportive. By the time we had done all these steps, it was actually towards the end of the last school year. 2023-24. So we did send out a communication to parents to give them a heads up, but we said we'll touch base with you again in September with the actual agreement, because there's no point in doing it now. The summer break is happening. There's going to be a whole new school, kids going into the school from junior infants, and then there'll be a group that will be leaving. So there was no point doing it at that time. So and actually, in the meantime, in August 2024, Norma Foley came out and introduced guidelines for secondary schools. So again, there was a little bit of the tide is starting to change a little bit. Then in September, St Bridget's National School and all the other schools that participate in this programme in Carndonagh sent out the voluntary agreement to all the parents. So in that agreement, we explain, it's a voluntary. You don't have to sign it if you don't want to. It's really, everybody's situation is different. Because if you have older kids and you have already given a smartphone to your older child, it's harder to say to your child who's coming of age now to say, sorry, you're not getting one.
So effectively, you're encouraging parents not to give a smartphone to their children until they begin secondary school. I might have national school age a long time ago, but I don't remember being at that age and there being a lot of smartphones in the classroom. Is it a huge issue, Jenny?
Well, I don't think there is. Smartphones are not allowed in the classroom in primary school. Like they're not allowed. But the problem is that
The out of school issues.
So if you go to your friend's house and if the majority of your peers, your friends have a smartphone and that's what they talk about and they're on YouTube all the time and they're talking about these YouTube videos and you're out of the loop, you're out of the conversation if you're not if you don't have a smartphone or a tablet to look at these things. So for me, we're very lucky. For me, the main pressure point was the confirmation stage. That it was the norm in my school that by the time your kid goes to confirmation, you have to give them a smartphone. Well, you don't have to, but they will be left out if they don't get a smartphone for confirmation. But the tide has been changing, and my eldest had his confirmation 2 weeks ago, and the majority of his friends did not get a smartphone for their confirmation.
Yeah.
So that's actually, for me, that's positive. So so when we rolled out this initiative, we collated all the numbers together. And so basically, throughout the 5 schools that it was rolled out, 71% of the children of these 5 schools, the parents have agreed to not give them a smartphone until they finish primary school.
Yeah.
So that represents 300 kids. It's fantastic results, for the first year of launching this. And we hope that every year when we launch the program again, that these numbers will keep going up so that the norm is you don't get a smartphone until you finish primary school. And then hopefully, we can delay it a bit longer even.
Yeah. As you mentioned, everyone's situation is different. A listener has got in touch to say, as a mother who is separated from her child's father, I can't imagine not being able to contact my child over the weekend or when they're with their father. Some will say to just contact their father, but not everyone ends on amicable terms. Fair play to the school, though. It is a good idea. It is a good idea, but as you said, everyone is different, and there are certain circumstances where, a parent would feel more comfortable with a child having a phone.
Absolutely. And, and it's important to respect, and it's important not to be finger pointing and, and if the parent was concerned about wanting to contact their child, but they didn't want to give them a smartphone. And I would not tell someone to not get a child a smartphone. It's everybody's own decision at the end of the day. I just don't want to feel myself under pressure of giving my child a smartphone before I'm ready to give it. So if the norm is that all my child's peers have a smartphone, I have to give my child a smartphone.
Yeah, it's the pressure.
And I don't feel comfortable with that. But at the same time, if someone were concerned, did not want to give their child a smartphone, but felt they need to be contacted, they could always give them the one of those old Nokia phones. You can be contacted without having the internet.
Because, it is the social media that has become so toxic. And for children growing up in that, that seems to be, it's not the issue of them being able to contact people, but it is what's online and the online bullying that is the huge issue.
Absolutely. And we all know ourselves, smartphones are incredibly addictive. I'm sure majority of us parents are addictive to our mobile phones, unfortunately. But for kids, it can get in the way of normal childhood stuff, like playing outside, playing with friends, reading, laughing, fooling around, being bored, taking little risks, just normal childhood stuff that we should be doing. And we see that the media, it's saying that children are suffering more and more from anxiety. But if you're not going outside and releasing that kind of energy outside or learning to be a child properly, it's no wonder that our children are increasingly anxious if they're spending a lot of time with a screen.
Yeah.
Well,
Jenny, it's a great initiative, and it'll be interesting to see in the years to come if there is. Already you have a good buy-in with it, so it'll be interesting to monitor now in the coming years how it grows.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
and
much.
also, I just want to say, Michaela, as well, I understand that the various schools in the other parishes in Inishowen, they're also looking at rolling out this initiative, because I was in touch with other parents from Clonmany and Culdaff, and they said that they were interested in rolling out this initiative. And also to say that actually the Carndonagh Community School, they have actually banned smartphones in the school since January 2025. So fair play to them. So these are all very positive, things that are going to help to change the norm. So listen, thank you very much, Michaela. I really appreciate for you having us on.
Thank you, Jenny.
Giving us a chance to talk about this. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be back with the latest news headlines just after this short break.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Do you need a little extra help staying in your home? At Bluebird Care, we offer a wide variety of QMark approved personalised home care services across Donegal. And our fully trained and committed staff will always meet your care needs with kindness, compassion and dignity. To get your personal home care assessment plan, visit bluebirdcare.ie or call our care team today on 07491 29562 and bring care home.
Hello, Jedward speaking. Sorry, Edward speaking.
Hey bro, I'm glad you picked up.
Who is this?
It's me, John. I'm literally outside in the landing.
I don't know any Sean. Lose my number. Hello?
Edward, don't hang up. I'm sorry for saying a handyman could fix the gas boiler. Please forgive.
Always use a registered gas installer, or you could risk everything. Find one at rgi.ie.
Hey, see that road sign?
Which one?
That white one with the black circle and 5 diagonal lines in the middle.
Yeah?
What does that mean again?
It now means that you should drive 60 kilometres an hour or slower.
Ah, okay. This sign on local and rural roads means drive at 60 kilometres an hour or below and always according to the road and weather conditions. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
Milford Tiles, Milford Retail Park. Tiles, bathware and wood flooring. The best quality and value in the Northwest. Fully stocked and ready to go. Fitters and delivery available. 10% off for Mica affected customers. Don't forget to ask about our 5-day bathroom fit out. Call Milford Tiles on 083 091 0707.
Hi, it's Marty Morrissey here. The Marty Party is heading to Calpe in Spain from October 2nd to October 9th. We have an amazing lineup. The Tumbling Paddies, Sean Kane, Tommy Fleming, Honor, Liam O'Connor, Cherish the Ladies, the Galway Tenors and many more. Book your tickets now online, www.galestertravel.com or call Deirdre at 087 68 93 519. Come on for the music and the crack.
It's time now for all the latest news headlines with Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Michaela. Good morning. A now retired police officer has told the Omagh bombing inquiry his son's girlfriend died in the atrocity. 29 people were killed in the real IRA attack of 1998 and hundreds were injured. The inquiry is now pausing for a break as the funeral of Tracy Devine, who was badly hurt in the attack, takes place. A house was broken into in the Raymohey area of Manor Cunningham. It happened between 5:15 on Friday evening and 10:30 the following morning. Entry was gained when the back door was forced open, however nothing was stolen and a number of rooms were ransacked. Gardaí are now asking members of the public who believe they have information that could assist inquiries to come forward. Also on Friday last, a house was entered in the Drumcairn area of Manor Cunningham between 2:15 and 7:15 that evening. The lock on the back door was forced open to gain entry. A bedroom was ransacked and a sum of cash was stolen. Gardaí are particularly interested in any sightings or dashcam footage of a grey Volkswagen Polo that's believed to have been in the area around the time. Israel's foreign minister is calling for talks to start on the next stage of the Gaza ceasefire deal. A deal for the second phase, which needs to be agreed by next Sunday, would see more Palestinian prisoners released. There'd been fears Israel's Prime Minister and far-right members of his cabinet could choose to restart fighting, but its foreign ministers Gideon Sers also demanded the complete demilitarisation of the enclave. And finally, American and Russian officials have begun talks to end the war in Ukraine. It's the most high-profile meeting between the two countries since Moscow's invasion began nearly 3 years ago. Kyiv and other European countries haven't been invited. Taoiseach Michaela Martin says Europe needs to be a part of the talks. That's all for now. We'll be back again with more at 12 noon.
Cervical Check provides free cervical screening for women aged 25 to 65. HPV cervical screening is one of the best ways to reduce your risk of developing cervical cancer in the future. If you're due your cervical screening, don't delay. Make an appointment today. For information and to check you're on the register, visit hsc.ie/cervical check or free phone 1800 45 45 55. From the HSE.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Now, before the break there, we were chatting with Jenny. She's a parent of a child at St Bridget's National School in Carndonagh, and 5 primary schools in Carndonagh have come together to launch a community-wide no smartphone voluntary agreement, and this is in a bid to support child wellbeing. A few listeners have been in touch. One says, I bought an old style Nokia, and if my child is going on a bus, I send that. Another says there are also benefits to phones. My daughter FaceTimes her friend every day after school and they do homework together. This has helped us as parents as we don't have to help her as often. She has become more independent. Well, that is, a good benefit there of the child becoming more independent. But I think the fear is, and the issue is, the online bullying and the nastiness on social media and how, apps like Snapchat, I'm showing my age, Snapchat, say even WhatsApp and, Instagram. Children are constantly on those platforms and they're comparing themselves to others from such a young age, or they have this idea that when they grow up they need to have this certain lifestyle that they can afford, designer clothes, they can afford to go on holidays every month, and it's not a great way to be growing up, and unfortunately that's the way society is. So I suppose, the schools and the parents are trying to protect that bit of innocence, I suppose, and let them grow up, learning and, forming their own opinions about things. Another listener says, this is a great idea. It's interesting how collective parents stand can make a difference. If only more parents would realise if they come together, they could have a huge impact on their children's mental health. Another listener says, hi Highland, tell that guy regarding the buying and selling of fools that you get what you vote for. We spoke earlier as well about the Pope. A listener says the Pope's engagements have been cancelled for the weekend as he battles his health. 88 is a big age for anyone to continue working. Maybe it's time for him to retire so that he can look after himself and find someone to replace him. That's what we were discussing earlier when we were having a look at the newspapers. I kind of compared it to Joe Biden. It's nowhere near the same at all, but whenever he was running for US president again, people were saying, he's far too old. Should there be an age limit on who can stand in that office? It's not the same as the Pope, but should there be an age limit on the Pope, and should it be based on medical grounds if they can continue their work? Moving on to another topic. So young people are seeking help with alcohol and they often face a range of challenges. I'm joined now on the line by a number of people. We'll start with yourself, Niamh. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you. So Niamh, we're speaking to you ahead of a conference that is taking place on Friday the 20th of February and running until March the 2nd. So what is the aim of this conference?
The aim of the conference is for young people or anybody who is an alcoholic or may have a problem with alcohol or wants to know more about alcoholism to come along. Now, they can come along to one day of it, they can come along to the whole weekend of it, but it's to learn more about the addiction, to learn more about recovery, and it's to learn more about having fun and enjoying life after alcohol. Thankfully, nowadays, young people are coming into Alcoholics Anonymous. We have people coming in their teens, which is great because it prevents them. Like, I came in later in life and I created a lot of trauma and heartache, both, to family and friends and myself and everybody now, to be honest with you. And if we can save people from doing that and they come in at an earlier age, They can have a life without alcohol, and they can. One of the biggest fears for people is like, what do I do if I'm not drinking? Sure, I can't go out and I can't have fun and I can't have, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that sort of stuff. And it's to show that there is, you know, life without alcohol as such, you know. Thankfully, nowadays, you know, there is a lot more openness and awareness about alcohol and alcohol addiction, you know, than there was years ago, you know what I mean? So that is making it somewhat easier.
And I think it shows how important these conversations are, because I myself wasn't aware of young people AA. I had heard of AA, but I suppose I didn't think that, you know, people so young would need help for this.
Oh, absolutely. You know, as I said, there is people coming in, you know, in their teens. And once they realise that, i.e. they're going out, they're binge drinking, they're having blackouts, they can't remember what happened the night before, and that could be a number of times, you know, or they can't remember where they were or what they did, and they suddenly find that alcohol is interfering with their home and their social life and their personal life, or they may be at home on their own drinking. You know, they may be starting first thing in the morning. They know. You know what I mean? They know that, you know, when they're out with their friends, let's say they're out with Mary can have one drink and she's putting it down, then she goes in water, and yet they're gasping for another one. You know, that they know there's a problem there, you know, and it's to give people the freedom in addressing them. Yeah, young people's, this IRAPA came around about 10 years ago. Now, Larry, I think, is another speaker, and he'll be able to tell you more about it. But it's a worldwide kind of event as well. You know, there's young people's associations in Alcoholics Anonymous in Europe and America and that sort of stuff. And it came to Ireland about 10 years ago, and it started in Carrick-on-Shannon, and it's built up over the years. Now, we did have planned one convention in the Great Northern. Unfortunately, COVID hit us. You know, we couldn't go ahead with it, you know. But we're expecting about maybe 400 people, obviously Irish and international. But what I'd like to say as well is there's an open meeting on the Friday night. So what we mean about an open meeting is that anybody can come along. It can be, you know, even if you just want to find out more about alcoholism, or you're worried about a brother, a mother, a sister, a friend, anybody at all can come along to this meeting, and they'll hear people sharing their experience, you know, how they've found recovery and how they're living today's life.
Yeah, well, stay
you
with
know
us.
Yourself.
Stay with us
all
there,
of
Niamh.
us like to have... Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'll come back to you, Niamh. We'll go to Larry, who also joins us now. Larry, when did you first fall into drinking at a young age?
So, I had my first drink. First of all, thanks for having me on. I had my first drink at 10 years of age. Somebody handed me a half bottle of poachine, and I took 3 mouthfuls out of it. And it hit my toes, and the entire face of the universe changed.
Yeah,
for
poachine
the first
is
time in my life.
Very strong.
Poachine is good stuff, yeah. Yeah, we know. But the entire face of the universe changed. And from that moment, I viewed the world through a different lens. I said, all I have to do is take a couple of mouthfuls of this stuff for the rest of my life, and I won't be worried about my height. I won't be worried about my weight, and I won't be worried about that teacher who's giving me a hard time in school.
Yeah, it was your outlet.
It just stopped all the noise. For the first time in my life, I wasn't thinking about my thinking.
Yeah.
Because a change happened to me when I was about 7 or 8. I don't know, I can't pinpoint it, but I just became very anxious, very worried, very annoyed, very upset, all up in my head. And then when I took that drink, it just stopped.
Yeah.
And life made sense. And at the start of you said to myself, I just have to drink this stuff every day and I'll be fine. At 10 years of age.
Yeah. And at that age, did you know that what you were doing wasn't normal for a 10-year-old?
Not really, to be honest, because I just was, you know, if you looked in the window of the house that I was out the back of, there was a pile of adults in there drinking and celebrating an under-14 championship win.
Right.
So nothing, the only difference was we were doing it outside on the QT and they were doing it inside. So for me, you know, drinking was, I grew up in an alcoholic home, so drinking was a huge part of just normal life.
You'd witnessed that, so you didn't observe that that wasn't right.
Yeah, now, look, my drinking, obviously at 10 years of age, I didn't get a chance to drink alcoholically, but I remember my thinking changed very drastically, and I left school at 14, and that's when it took off. I mean, it went off like a rocket ship from 14.
And when did you get to that point where you knew that this wasn't sustainable and that I do need to seek help?
So I was brought by the hand to my very first meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
I was 2 weeks the legal age to drink in Ireland when I was at my first AA meeting. I was just turned 18, and I spent 3.5 years in and out of Alcoholics Anonymous, trying to sponsor myself, not listening to anybody, and also I was struggling. Like there wasn't too many young people when I was getting sober. There was no young people, none whatsoever. Like I remember sitting in my first meeting, and the man who was doing the top table, he was 34. I'm 3 years older than that now, but to me he was a dinosaur at 18 years of age.
You couldn't
me,
relate
like,
relate to the situation.
It's not, well, look, I could understand what he was talking about when he was talking about the mental obsession with alcohol, the physical craving, the loss of control. I understand that language. But to me, I guess I just was wondering, where are all the young people?
And do you feel that young people AA now, that, you know, it would have benefited you back then?
Yeah, but see, it's important to clarify this, right? So the convention is a convention of Alcoholics Anonymous before it is anything else. It's an AA event ran by AA people for AA people, right? And for anyone interested in Alcoholics Anonymous. It just uses the word young. So that if you're 18 years of age, right, and you pick up a flyer, and that flyer reads the All-Ireland Convention of Young People in Alcoholics Anonymous, not outside trying to get in Alcoholics Anonymous, that could be enough to save your life. And then when you go to the event, you actually see, hold on a second here, this isn't just for young people, this is for everybody. And everybody's having fun, and everyone's having the crack, and there's a joyness about it, and there's a freedom about it. And it's simply just, it's like the very first young people's AA group was started in America in 1945. So this is not a new concept.
Yeah.
You also have 60, 70 plus years of the International Convention of Young People in AA. From that, then, the model of EURIPA, which was started in 2009, which is the European Convention of Young People in AA. And then, like our last speaker said, around 10 years ago, the conversation happened with a few of us and said, hey, maybe we could start one of these in Ireland. And it's proven to be a hugely successful event.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding, you know.
Ruby, good morning to yourself as well.
Good morning, hi.
So Ruby, can you tell me a bit about your story and how you got to the point where you realised as well that you needed help with alcohol?
Well, my drinking kind of kicked off when I was 15, and, you know, I always had this kind of fear around it because, you know, I was scared of getting in trouble, and, you know, I had an alcoholic father, and there was always a lot of fear around it. But I remember when I did take the first drink with some friends, you know, it was before a disco or something, and I thought, wow, this is something. You know, any kind of insecurity I ever had was pushed to the side. You know, I felt like that was me, and I was myself. And I always kind of drank socially. You know, I never was sitting at home with a bottle. I was always out with friends, but I was always the one who didn't know when to stop and didn't know when to go home. And then blackouts, and, you know, I was aggressive when I was drinking. And then when I was about 18, I started getting into harder things, and I was into drugs as well. And, you know, things just kind of spiraled from there.
And then what made you realise that I need help with this? Was there a particular moment?
It was a year ago now. I had an incident one night when I was drinking, which I won't get into, but I had a friend sit me down the next day. Apparently my friends had been talking about how to say this to me, but she sat me down and she said, you know, no one wants to hang around you anymore. We don't know what's going on with you. Like, we don't know what's happened to you, but, you know, like, we think you need to do something about this. And I was lucky enough that... Sorry, go on.
No, continue.
I was lucky enough that I actually knew someone in the program who
Right.
actually held out a hand for me and, you know, offered me the option to go with her. And at this point, I didn't really know a lot about AA. You know, I never considered it at all. But I went to my first meeting and, you know, I just felt this kind of sense of I belong without alcohol.
And what kind of support did you get then that you felt, you know, Larry talked about how whenever he went at a young age that it was an older person speaking. Did you feel that you could relate to, you know, the meeting and the support that was available?
100%. The first meeting I went to was actually a young person's meeting. So it wasn't just, you know, older people, it was younger people too. It was a mix of everyone. And I found that straight away, you know, I could identify with people, and there was people my age and there was people who were older, and everyone held out the same hand. You know, everyone offered help, support, and they really take you in with open arms.
And Eve, going back to yourself there, Ruby had mentioned there growing up with an alcoholic parent. Is this something that the AA can help with as well if they fear that they could go down a similar path?
Yes, there is. Yeah, you know, we find people who have alcohol addiction in the family or addictions in the family. It tends to kind of, you know, go down as well. You know, and I suppose a lot of us have family members who are also in addiction as well, so we can offer support. You know, we do have a sister organisation, Al-Anon, as well, which is for family and members, even though they're not alcoholics, they're family and members maybe, and very often people go to that as well, you know what I mean? And they will be having some talks at the convention as well, you know what I mean? Because being honest about it, you know, when there is an alcoholic in the family, it's very, very difficult. You know, there's no getting around it. There's no way to say it nicely. You know,
we actually just got a message in from a listener there that says, as a 15-year-old child of an alcoholic, I find it very difficult to parent my mom's constant need for drink. Could I go to this and try to bring her, or does she need to come off her own will?
Well, the person can come themselves. That's most important. You know what I mean? Because they will get support. You know, if their parent comes as well, that is even better, you know what I mean? But it's very hard to force an alcoholic to do anything. You know, very often we have to allow them to come on their own time, you know. They could, you know, I can definitely leave my number with the show, and I can put them in touch with somebody, you know, in the Donegal area, if you like that, you know, and they can help and assist them. And very often, you know, when you buddy up with somebody, you know, who is another alcoholic, it's easier to come to these events as well, you know. And Ruby talked about it there, that she knew somebody in the fellowship and she was able to reach out and put contact. But definitely we can help that person out. If, you know, I can definitely, you know, probably can pass on my number, you know.
Great,
but they can come along, and there is support, you know, not only for the alcoholic but for family members as well. I know in my own situation, you know, my family loves to see me getting out and enjoying life, you know, because they, you know, they've witnessed the hardship, and it is so difficult. You know, it's difficult all around, you know. It's really important as well, and Ruby mentioned it there, you know, it's really important, you know, as alcoholics. I know in my own drinking, I was a lone drinker. I drank at home, you know, and it's great now to be part of a tribe, to feel part of something, and to have your own group of friends, and have support, you know, both in the community and, you know, where you can go. Like, you can travel all over Ireland or all over the world, and there's Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. And to have the freedom to be able to go into a meeting, sit down, and somebody will reach out their hand. Somebody will say hello to you. Somebody will say, are you visiting? Or, you know, what's happening, you know. And that's huge, to feel part of a community, you know. But, listen, I also want to say, thank you very much for having us on the show. We really, really do appreciate it, you know, and it's a great opportunity, you know, to get the word out there on the Highland Radio, so we do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, and it's brilliant to hear the likes of, you know, personal experiences and different stories, because it might resonate with someone. Just going back to yourself, Larry, there, about having your first drink at 10, you said that you didn't realise anything was wrong, but somebody hearing that now may realise that, you know, it isn't right what they're doing.
Yeah, well, look, I'd be very quick not to condemn alcohol. For me, alcohol was a solution. There's an Irish expression that says Boston Hálaigte, which means the death of beauty. And that's what my drinking was. At one time, it was a beautiful thing, but it died very, very quickly at a very, very young age. So I wouldn't be one to condemn alcohol. With respect to, you cannot live with alcoholism and not be affected. That is a given. That is a given. It's not, I'm not an alcoholic because I grew up in an alcoholic home. But it definitely distorted how I viewed the world and dealt with the human race. That's a fact. And for that last listener, my heart goes out to that person there, because I know the speaker talked about the Sister Fellowship Al-Anon, and there's also Alateen as well. I believe to be some online resources and YouTube speakers and stuff like that. But I would, my suggestion to that individual who's concerned about an alcoholic parent is that when you leave muddy water alone, it will settle itself. You cannot control the alcoholic very much like you can't control alcohol consumption. It reacts in very much the same way. If the alcoholic can't control their drinking, what hope do I have to try and control the alcoholic's drinking? The man who brought me to my first meeting was my daddy, and he went back out, left Alcoholics Anonymous after 14 years, and we buried him last July. And that is the nature of the beast. That is alcoholism in its finest form. Did alcohol directly kill him? I don't know. But it definitely facilitated him not looking after himself.
And do you feel yourself now that you need to go regularly to these meetings if you step away from one that it does affect you?
See, the meeting will not treat my alcoholism. I was told that a long, long time ago, that there's a 12-step recovery program which will treat the alcoholism. The meeting is just a place where you can find that program and where you can show up for the newcomer. The only thing that Alcoholics Anonymous has to offer the newcomer is an uncomfortable chair and a bad cup of coffee and a little bit of love until they find it within themselves to love themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
And Ruby, did you find it that it was that safe space that you needed at the time? You spoke about, your friends saying that you need to change. Did you find it that safe, welcoming space to help you speak about this?
Yeah, 100%. I think listening around and hearing that everyone else had, similar experiences, or everyone else had their own personal rock bottom, it made me realize that, this wasn't me. This was my alcoholism. This was something that I could not control unless I worked to control it.
And was it a decision, were you getting to that point where you possibly thought that you needed help, and was it your friends that gave you that extra push?
To be honest, I probably could have gone on for a long time. So I'm very, very grateful to my friend for sitting me down and telling me that, because I don't want to know where I would be right now if it wasn't for them.
Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. Niamh, just a reminder there of the conference and how people can get more information.
Yeah, people can get more information on www.ireypaa.ie. That's our website. It's happening in the Falls Hotel at Esteim in County Clare on February the 28th and March the 2nd. And there is some rooms available. So if they contact the hotel and say that they're coming to the IREPA convention, they'll get a special rate. But again, if somebody wants to make the road trip, I know it's a long distance from Donegal. If someone wants to make the road trip for the day, just come along. We are self-supporting, so there's, you can just come along and sit in, have a look, join some of the workshops. There is, there's a serious side of this convention. There will be workshops, there will be meetings, but there's also a lot of fun, and there's also, yoga and meditation. As I said, there's workshops. I think Larry there is organising a 5K, I do believe. There's some sports events, there's a disco, there's a rave on, there's quizzes on, there's entertainment, so it's action-packed. There's 52 events on over the weekend, so something for everybody.
Great. And again, thank you all for joining us this morning and for being so open with your stories. Thank you so much for that. We got a comment in. I watch my neighbours' children drink with their parents at the weekend like they are so growing up. It's just pitiful. Should there be greater sanctions on parents who allow their children who are underage to drink? What do you think about that? Text or WhatsApp us here on 086 60 25,000 or give us a call on 074 91 25,000, and you can also email comments@highlandradio.com. A couple of other comments now. My mum rang NIDOC at 7:30 last night. They wanted her to get an ambulance as she is an emergency patient. As she is prone to clots, she refused the ambulance. She was an emergency call and NIDOC tried to ring the emergency department for 30 minutes and they still couldn't get through. We were told to say that she was an emergency and to request an x-ray at the desk. Mum is still sitting in triage this morning. She got an ECG and bloods done at 5 a.m. All she needed was an x-ray and she's still waiting. She is an emergency case as she is prone to clots. This clot could go anywhere. I would be with her, only I have young kids. So she's waiting since 7:30 yesterday and still needs an x-ray. And the pressure of that, that it could possibly be a clot, and obviously, clots need to be dealt with in such a timely manner. So it's it's crazy just that people are left waiting, and you do wonder, if you go to the hospital, you do think, if you're not an emergency yourself, you think, you may be waiting and you question, what if I was an emergency and I needed to be seen to right away? And then in the back of your head, you're like, no, that would, I would be grand. I would be seen immediately. But yeah, hopefully you get seen to now as soon as, and you're keeping well. Another couple of comments. My son downloaded the app for his theory driving test. He got 20 correct and failed, and the app really put him off. As a long-term driver, I thought I would give the app a go myself to see if I could pass it, and only got 19 right. I think the way they are asking the questions on the app are very misleading, like trick questions. Yeah, I wonder, I did my driving test and theory test in the north, and they did bring in then, that you need to do a refresher course every so often, which I do think is important, but I was kind of the cohort before that. But you do wonder, what would you be like if you had to do your theory again? Another listener says, this government has told us there will be no more giveaway budget for Irish people, but this morning we discover we are donating another €50 million to Ukraine. How is this fair? Can someone find out why the cross and chapel has been removed from the HU campus? I even noticed no crib at Christmas there this year either. Another listener says, Ayrshire Water is a joke. They've been to my house 9 times trying to fix it. They don't have a clue. The builder couldn't fix it, so I've no heating 2 years in a council property. I do hear constantly about issues with the Ayrshire Water, but being without heating, that's just not ideal. Hopefully, maybe you possibly have gone on to Donegal County Council or your local councillor, and they may be able to help you with that. We'll be back with more just after this short break.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Being a Garda will change your life. I often hear my friends who have normal jobs complaining about going to work. I love what I do, and I think most Gardaí are the same. You're just not allowed to get bored. I've done the job for 30 years and had 20 different roles, each time learning something new. I've been a coach and mentor. I've managed high-risk undercover operations. I've walked the beat and developed protocols for dealing with cyberbullying, which is saving lives right across Ireland today. I'm currently involved in extraditing dangerous criminals who pose a risk to our communities. Being a Garda is a really tough job, but it's definitely a job worth doing. You can apply now at publicjobs.ie.
Are you looking for a powerful, high-performance laptop? Think green and save big with Ben Sweeney Euronics. Discover refurbished Lenovo ThinkPads that look and feel like new with Windows 11 pre-installed and a rock-solid 3-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why pay full price when you can save up to 70% and do your part for the planet by choosing sustainable tech? Find yours today at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny, and the shopping centre, Dunlow.
In these difficult, turbulent times around the world, people all over Ireland are selflessly working to help those in need. The Irish Red Cross Humanitarian Awards are here to celebrate these incredible people. Go to redcross.ie and nominate a volunteer or group in the community who you think deserves an award. Nominations close Friday, 21st of February. The Irish Red Cross Humanitarian Awards. Because good deeds matter. Visit redcross.ie.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out shaneconleycars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time is now 11:33. Now, the GAA's annual Congress for 2025 will take place in Donegal Town this week. I'm joined now on the line by Donegal GAA Chairperson Mary Coughlin. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
So, Mary, how significant is this event for, firstly, the GAA?
Well, this is a hugely important occasion. This is like the annual general meeting of the GAA, and it is not just the counties that will be there, the provinces will be there, the former Uachtaráin will be there, but it will also be where all the representatives from all over the world in the World Games will also travel to meet. So it's a hugely important occasion where I do know, when speaking with the Uachtaráin, he has something significant to say in his speech. And it'll also be an opportunity to discuss a number of motions that would have come from county conventions and some rule changes that may be considered within the organisation. There won't be any elections on this occasion, as the Uachtaráin this will be his first opportunity to chair the Congress, but it's hugely significant, and it's seriously significant for Donegal GAA that we're in a position to host it on this occasion.
And it's hugely significant as well following the win last week, so I'm sure you'll be delighted to welcome everybody to the county.
I don't know if the Armagh people might want to come, but anyway. That being said, we've had a turbulent time, as you all know, and everybody has been working very closely together, the clubs, the committee, the executive, our supporters, our sponsors, really striving and driving on Donegal GAA. And I suppose it makes life a little bit easier when, our teams are doing better, and there's great hype and an energy and enthusiasm now, especially that great win that we had against Armagh. I just happened to meet Brian McAniff during the week, and he told me that it's almost 40 years since Donegal hosted a GAA Congress, which was in Bundoran at the time. So it's equally significant for Donegal Town and South Donegal and the county. That we will have over 400 delegates, and some of them will have partners with them and staff, that they will have the opportunity to see that Donegal can in fact host many conferences, and that we have the potential there from a tourism point of view to try and encourage more people to come to the county as well for their holidays.
Because obviously it's not just people from Ireland that will be attending, there will be people from right across the world, and it's that, that international injection that will help obviously the sport, but it also showcase the county.
Absolutely, it will be a showcase opportunity, and I have been told by Tourism Ireland and by our representatives here in Donegal, whom I might add have been so helpful, that we have not been in a position in Donegal to attract conferences of this ilk back to Donegal since COVID. So it's hugely important that we can showcase the county and the fact that we have the facilities, the bedrooms, we have the food, we have all the offerings that are necessary. First of all, from a corporate perspective, to encourage people back on the off season, and then naturally to encourage people to come here in Donegal. And I have to take the opportunity of thanking all of the sponsors who have been just unbelievable in supporting this occasion. We'll have an occasion now on our own media outlets to showcase all of the people that have been just tremendous. The staff in the hotels have been second to none in the Abbey and the Central, and my own colleagues as well around the table who've really put the shoulder to the wheel, people who will volunteer on the days supporting people and helping them to move around. But I think it's hopefully will be something that people, when they do come, will enjoy, and that they will have the opportunity to come back.
And back to the event itself, is there any one particular thing that you would be hoping will be up for discussion or you believe needs to be addressed?
Well, I think the Uachtaráin is going to take on a number of the issues that he has laid out. And first of all, we had the change of the rules, the footballing rules, and there'll be a lot of discussion about that, although there won't be changes until next year. But I think by its nature, there'll be a lot of discussions about it. Secondly, the Uachtaráin has ensured that there's a new appointment in Croke Park on the development of hurling. So that will also be for the smaller counties like ourselves who don't have as much hurling as perhaps Kilkenny and Limerick and places like that. And the amateur status is something, and costs will be one of the big issues I'm led to believe that will be discussed at Congress, and can be in itself controversial in one way. You have to put in the supports in order to help our talent, and at the same time the costs have got very expensive and are putting a lot of pressure on county boards and on counties. So I think finance, in my view, is going to be one of the biggest discussions that's going to take place, and there's a huge workshop taking place, and I think that's where a lot of the discussions will be on this occasion.
Mary, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll be watching that very closely. That is, of course, Mary Coughlin, Donegal GAA chairperson. We have more to come on the show as well within the last 20 minutes, and we'll be back with more comments just after this short break.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Want to work with the very best? Then make the all-new Nissan Interstar your next recruit. It's first impressions that count, and the Nissan Interstar doesn't disappoint. With a brand new eye-catching grille and jaw-dropping design. And with a stronger-than-ever payload, it has the power to match your ambition. Available now in electric and diesel versions. Let the world know you mean business with the all-new Nissan Interstar. Contact your local dealer or visit nissan.ie. Nissan. Defy ordinary.
If that tickle in your throat has turned into a nasty cough, or if you're just feeling a bit under the weather, at McGee's Chemist we understand. From the right cough bottle to pain relief or throat lozenges, we've everything you'll need to get you back on your feet. Our pharmacists and experienced staff are always ready to offer advice and help you find the right solutions. Don't suffer in silence. Visit McGee's Chemist today. McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, for healthcare help and advice you can always trust.
Get the job done with the right tools or equipment from Watson Hire in Letterkenny. From power tools to hand tools and diggers to dumpers, you'll find all you need at Watson's. Scissor lifts, generators, power washers, whatever you need to get the job done. For a fast and reliable hire service, contact Watson Hire Lisnen in Letterkenny on 9167777 or see watsonhire.ie.
Restex Beds, celebrating 50 incredible years of helping you dream better, sleep deeper and wake up refreshed. For half a century, we've been your trusted partner in comfort and innovation. And now, introducing the new Glenveigh mattress, designed with cutting-edge technology for ultimate support and luxurious comfort. It's the perfect way to celebrate our golden anniversary with the best sleep of your life. Visit Restex Beds today and experience 50 years of excellence. Restex Beds. Leave the rest to us.
Ready to transform your smile? Discover the magic of Blue Poppy Dental in Letterkenny and Donegal Town. With implantologists, surgical and cosmetic dentists, orthodontists and an endodontist all under one roof, we've got all your dental needs covered. Starting your journey is easy. Call us on 074 91 20355 or book your appointment online anytime through our user-friendly patient portal at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dental and Orthodontics, where smiles shine brighter.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
When it's confirmation time, it's time for a trip to Watson Menswear in Letterkenny. Choose from a great selection of top label, casual and formal wear, blazers and jackets with shirts to match. Denims, chinos and footwear from big names like Diesel, Cavani and Tommy Bow. Buy your confirmation outfit at Watson Menswear and one lucky person will get their money back. Stand out on the big day at Watson Menswear, open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and at watsonmenswear.com.
Enjoy real savings this week at Super Value. Like Super Value Fresh Irish Fillet Steak, now save 33%. And Fresh Irish Strip Loin Steak, also save 33%. Scan your card or app and get Campo Viejo Rioja case deal, only €50. And Bold Spring Awakening Powder 68 wash, now €10. Make real savings every week at Super Value. Enjoy alcohol responsibly.
Packing, passports and racing to check in. Holiday prep can be pure chaos. But your travel money, that's one essential you can tick off long before you leave. Pop into your local post office today and sort your travel money in cash or card instantly. Or sign up for a card in the On Post Money app and top up before you go. No commission on foreign currency, no need to pre-order, no fuss. Visit your local post office today. On Post Money. Make your money matter more.
T's and C's apply. On Post Money currency card is issued by PPS EUSA pursuant to licence by MasterCard International. PPS EUSA is authorised by the National Bank of Belgium and is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland for conduct of business rules. On Post is authorised by the Minister for Finance to provide foreign currency cash.
Whether they're on holiday, watching TV, eating a family meal.
Put it down.
It seems teenagers just refuse to put down their phones. But help is at hand.
Because Fundamania is in Derry.
Real thrills, real fun, outside in the fresh air.
Fundamania Derry at the Brunswick Movie Bowl from February 28th to March 17th.
Choose regular, junior or family wristbands. Turn screen time into scream time. Details at fundamania.co.uk.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenny's. Our new season special occasion wear range is here. Visit us to explore our extensive dress collection in store or shop online at mcelhennys.com today.
Some hazy, sunny spells developing today. Southeast winds will be mostly moderate to fresh and gusty, but strong at times near coast, with highest temperatures of 7 to 9 degrees. Now, something lovely and light-hearted to end the show. I am joined in studio by Maria Rush, who is the director of the Letterkenny Musical Society, and Paddy Moore, who is playing Willy Wonka in the forthcoming Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is taking place in Greenan Theatre, Letterkenny, from Tuesday the 4th of March to Saturday the 8th of March. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Michaela. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. So how's preparations going, Maria? All the pressure's on you.
Oh no, there's no pressure on me at all. When you have a cast and crew around you like I have, there's very little for me to do except just kind of puppeteer, I suppose, really. It is going really, really well. I've just come from the theatre, actually. We had a big technical meeting this morning because we're doing a lot of special effects and a lot of projections and stuff that we wouldn't usually do. So from that point of view, yes, it's a big one for the team. Cast-wise, we have a huge cast. We have, and probably one of the most incredibly talented casts I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Like, this man sitting beside me is another level, and he's just bringing everybody up with him. He's just brilliant. And we have, of course, kids on stage again, which is really exciting. I love having young people on stage with me.
Yeah. And does it, some stage plays, they kind of don't follow the story. Does this loosely follow the story, or is there a different element of surprise?
It's quite similar, more faithful to the book, the original book, more than the films themselves. There is slight differences between the books and Gene Wilder's films and Johnny Depp's film, of course. But this is more fantastical type of Wonka that you would see compared to Gene Wilder's. This is the more Roald Dahl original Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Which I suppose everybody does love, and I suppose that appeals to so many generations then. Do you know, these new films, while they're great, but it's nice to see the original, and that's exactly what yous are doing then.
It is, as Paddy said, like, it's based on the 1964 book by Roald Dahl, and like, we all grew up reading Roald Dahl's books. The only real difference, I suppose, that stands out is that while the book is set in the UK, we're doing the Broadway version, so we have the American accents, but there's no actual physical setting. This could be anywhere. This is, the American accents, yes, but that's the only one little conversation that myself and Donald Kavanagh had at the start was, ooh, this isn't sitting well with me, But the script really works from the American point of view, so it's good fun. And it's also there's no time here. It's set in the old story, but you're talking about Instagram and Twitter, and there's jokes about Trump, and there's different things in it that makes
you're bringing
it
it up to
universal,
current times.
But it definitely does tell the story. But there's a few little dark twists as well. Like, your character,
definitely,
you're very much going from happy Wonka to a little bit terrifying.
Wonka is a random spin wheel of what he's going to do next. There's no telling what he's thinking, what he's feeling, or where he's going to go. So one minute I'm the most joyful, jovial character you could meet, and the next I'm the most sinister, which is great fun for me.
Great,
so
sometimes I don't even know which one he's going to be in.
Neither do I, to be honest. I kind of see what comes out. I mix it all together and you kind of see what comes out.
You do indeed.
But it is really fun to get that full spectrum of the randomness of Wonka.
Yeah. And I was actually chatting to Donal in our newsroom, and he was saying, when you actually think about this story, it is a bit scary, but when you were growing up, it was such a great fun show.
We were hardy, weren't we? Like
back in the day.
Exactly. It definitely is. And there are parts of this that are dark. You know, there are going to be a few moments where the audience are going to look at each other and say, did they really just do that? And we're going to say, yes, we did. Leave your inhibitions at the door. Do not come into the theatre next week looking for logic and rationale, because you're not getting it. We really and truly are entering a world of pure imagination with this one.
Yep.
Like there are no limits. And what's amazing, I suppose, as a director and as a production team, is that we have no limits to what we can do on the stage here.
Yeah.
You know, it's just go for it, have fun with it. There's nobody going to say, well, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
If you're looking for reality, you're at the wrong show.
No,
you
but
know?
people are going, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
Paddy, what has it been like taking on the role of Willy Wonka?
Oh, it's been a dream. From the moment I got to read the script, I was laughing my own head off. And I still can't say the lines without giggling most of the time. So I've just kind of made that part of Wonka. He just laughs on himself.
Yeah.
And working with all the kids and like all the mad characters that they're bringing forward, and seeing how much fun they're having and playing with the roles just reminds me to like, oh yeah, this is fun. We can like just play and see what happens next. It's brings the joy to the forefront of the music theatre.
Yeah.
Which is just fantastic.
And Maria, how difficult is it? You mentioned there like the special effects, working with that and deciding kind of what special effects we're going to use.
It's 3:00 in the morning is where I have my best ideas. You know, again, I mentioned already, I'm very lucky to have people around me that say yes to everything. You know, sometimes they might say it through gritted teeth, but our producer Noel Donal is assistant directing again this year as well. Even from the point of view of our technical support in the theatre, Niall Cranny, there's nothing that if I say, right, I want this and I want this, he's already thinking about how he's going to make it happen.
Right.
So the lights are a huge issue, and lights are a big part of this show. They're also quite a big part of my stylistic direction anyway. I like to work scenes with lights, and anybody who's seen shows that I've directed will know that. So, you know, yes, there's a lot. Technically it's difficult because of timing of, you know, changes in the background, and there will be certain things that if the timing doesn't work, it might not work. But at the same time, the scenes on stage are so much fun and so much chaos that there's a good chance there's things that I'll notice and Paddy will notice and Donal will see that maybe others mightn't.
Yeah.
But, you know, generally we're a very well-oiled machine, and when we all get into this point of the production, we all take on what needs to be done and it gets done. So it's exciting from the point of view of the technical side of things. It really is exciting for us. Even from the point of view of the kids getting to do things like, you know, disappearing and there's lots of magic going to happen on stage.
But the thought process of that is crazy.
It's
I don't know
chaotic.
how you do it.
It's asking yourself, can we do this? How can we do it? How can we do a version of it? And don't say no.
That's your warning.
I know Donald's laughing at the radio now listening to this.
Imagination really is the limit when it comes to staging this show.
Yeah.
It's how mad can we get to know what can we add to this.
And I'm a Roald Dahl baby. I grew up reading his books as they were being published, and therefore I suppose that's just how my brain works anyway. But if you stop yourself, I think as a director, if I was to say, oh, we can't do that, this show wouldn't be as much fun for anybody. You know, whereas they laugh at me. You've even gotten to know very quickly that if I say I have an idea, they all go, oh, buckle up.
Oh, no.
Here we go. You know.
And I'd say the costumes are amazing for this. I can just imagine. And the stage set itself.
Set is coming from Galway. We're actually going down. Sligo Musical Society are doing it they're on this week. So there's a few of the production team are working down because it's much of our set. So we're looking forward to seeing it on stage now on Thursday. The costumes are really interesting this time. We always get our costumes from companies either in London or Liverpool. So we're working with Charades in Liverpool this year. Now, Lorraine Porter has put in phenomenal work trying to organise it, because this show dictates how the staging happens with the costumes. Generally, we decide, I want this person on, we want these people on stage, get costumes for this. But because of the package of costumes in this one, Michaela, we have to put on stage who is in each costume. So I can't just go in and say, as the director, I want you, and you on the stage. I have to check with Lorraine, can I get these on stage?
Too specifically
Yeah,
fitted to
because
each.
the costume, especially the Oompa Loompa costumes, wait until you see them. We have full-size squirrels coming for
Right.
a ballet scene. We have the Oompa Loompas, different versions of them. They're very, very cool. The costumes for the main characters like Frau Gloop and Mr. Salt, Mr. Beauregard, Mrs. TV, it's going to feel like you're watching a West End
Yeah.
production because the costumes are coming from a professional company in the UK. So that's a huge expense. Sorry, Noel.
The
but
special effects with some of the costumes
yeah,
as well.
and the special effects
Oh,
in
with
the
the
costumes.
costumes.
Yeah, so
Oh,
like
very
people
exciting.
say, how are you going to make Violet explode? Watch us. Just watch us and see.
Yeah,
how
well,
we're
it
going to
does
do it.
sound so
Yeah.
exciting. We're going to get a taste now of what's to come. Paddy, you're going to give us a song?
Would love to.
Yes, perfect. You let me know when you're ready and we'll go for it.
Yeah, no problem. I think I might stand up if you don't mind.
Yeah, you pull that up and... Perfect. All good for you?
Perfect. There we are.
Great. We'll go for it now then.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Amazing. Great. So Maria, that's what we can expect. No less.
and that's that's one of the really famous songs from the musical. And there's also there's a few different versions of the Oompa Loompa song in this. At different scenes throughout
Right.
it, and then you also have, of course, I've Got a Golden Ticket, which young Charlie. So Charlie has been played by Oisin McLaughlin, who has been with LMS for a while on little small cameo roles, but who has very much taken this one. It's a huge role. Look, Paddy and Oisin are on stage for 99% of the show. There is no
And trying
breathing
to
time.
stay alert, Paddy, for that length
Oh,
of
yeah.
time. And you know the way sometimes you work, like I know I work, I have a 2-minute break now, I'll get my head around something else. So you need to know, you need to be so like over your scripts.
There's
And
not a second to spare. It really is. As soon as the show begins, I am Willy Wonka, and I don't become Paddy again until the curtain closes at the end.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Yeah. We also have another young guy, Matthew Barron, who's playing Charlie on the Thursday night and on the Saturday matinee.
Right.
So the two lads have just been, haven't they been a joy to watch?
Oh,
Just
they're both fantastic.
Never mind the other. I just want to mention the other kids, if
Yes,
that's okay.
of
So we
course.
have Mike TV has been played by Joshua Concannon. He is fantastic. He's really making the role his own. Another LMS stalwart at this point is Ethan Barron, who plays Augustus Gloop, and I think for most people he's going to be a complete highlight, along with Nicola Shields as his mother. And then we have Amy Galvin is taking Veruca to new heights. Like, she's amazing. And we have a lovely young lady called Ariel Fagroa, who is playing Violet, and the sass that she brings. Like, these
Great.
kids show us what talent is. You
Yeah.
know, the adults are talented, but the kids
And
are,
I think
are
it's
just
so
fantastic.
nice seeing the children actually bring so much joy watching them, never mind what the story is, but just seeing them and their acting
Yeah.
and their singing and how much joy they get out of it as well. It just radiates then into the
Confident
audience.
they are is just,
I know.
oh, it's amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So what about ticket sales, Maria?
Tickets are Saturday's completely sold out. As I said, I've just come from the theatre. Their Saturday matinee has been sold out since October, and the Saturday night has just gone this morning. So there are 3 seats left for the Friday show. Well, there were when I left the theatre. They may be gone now.
Yes.
And then I know we're sitting, there's about 100 tickets left for the Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday night, and those nights do have concessionary tickets as well.
Okay.
But yeah, the fact that we're sold out for the Saturday already 2 weeks before we open is brilliant.
Brilliant.
It's really exciting.
And does that give you like a confidence boost, knowing, people are so interested, and they've obviously seen so many of your productions before that they're just buzzing for this year again?
Yeah. Well, LMS, we're renowned for putting on brilliant shows, and we're very proud of that, but we put a lot of work into it. This one is big, it's terrifying. There's going to be a lot of sleepless nights for the committee and cast and crew, but as I said, we have a huge team around us, like our backstage manager. We have Noel O'Donnell and Tara McLaughlin backstage. Everyone's working on their part of the job. Our musical director is Jared Bradley, and he has his brother Mark assisting, as well as a full orchestra. And then we have our choreographer is Emmett Stewart again this year, and Emmett is just absolutely brilliant. Lorraine, as I mentioned, is doing the costumes. We have Donal and Nicola looking after the PR and publicity. It's a full-time job for people who have full-time jobs.
Yeah, I know it is,
and
such
it's
a
all
commitment.
voluntary. So yes, and the other side of it, I suppose, is that we need to sell tickets so that it actually allows us to break our costs.
Yeah.
And be able to carry on next year, because this is all voluntary. It's all it's all for fun, isn't it?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It is fun, isn't it, Paddy?
But yeah, like the amount of commitment that each of the cast members have brought and the production team is just insane. Like Maria works around the clock. Even when she's sleeping, she's not sleeping. She's thinking about what can I do next to make this even bigger.
Yeah.
It's going to be an insane show.
Well, I wish you all the best. No doubt you absolutely don't need it, and it will be such a roaring success. Thank you so much for coming up, and thanks, Paddy, for giving us a song as well. And that's it for the 9 till noon show this morning. Thanks to Caroline Orr, who researched and produced, and to Shannon Wilkin for all her help as well. John Breslin is back next with Around the Northwest.